All right, everyone. How are we doing? Welcome to the Nintendo Time Podcast, Season 2, Episode 63. We got about this episode plus 6 more left in Season 2 before we change on over to Season 3. We are missing someone, but don't worry. Andres Restart will be here. He's just running a little late. His brother's running late at work, so they
I am also going to be right back.
That's awesome. He's been saying that this whole time.
But I love you guys. I just needed to see the chat and be here for 1 second so I can get bricked up. Now I just need to use the bathroom. But I'll be right back.
I
to get bricked down.
Drop us a brick quick. All right. That being said, we have some special guests here today, Cap Ferguson and Nick with No K. Welcome back to the podcast, guys.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, are you talking, Cap? Because you're muted or something.
Yes, I was muted. So, oops. But thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you guys back on. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
It has, yeah. Too long.
Well, we'll start the show with how we always start. What have we been playing lately? And since I have no idea what you guys are even doing with your life, Cap, let's start with you. What have you been playing lately?
Ooh, I just finished a playthrough of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Really, really great game. Really good Metroidvania. I liked it. And I've been playing Link's Awakening, actually. Classic throwback Zelda. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Nick with No K, what have you been playing lately?
I have been full diving into Persona 3 Reload. That has been my go-to whenever I have free time. I genuinely have not touched my Switch in 2 months because before Persona came out, I was playing Fortnite on my Xbox, and then Persona came out, and I just haven't gone back to the Switch. So I've been having a lot of fun with Persona 3. It's my first time playing that game, so it is all new to me, and I'm really taking my time and just going through that. And then I also just started doing a live stream playthrough of Minecraft. I'm going back to do survival mode because I've been on a Minecraft kick, and I'm I kind of want to live stream it too because it could be fun because I've never played the Java version before, which I know has all kinds of different stuff compared to Bedrock. So Minecraft and Persona, that's what I've got.
All right, Minecraft and Persona. That's a very interesting combo. I love it.
And some Fortnite here and there, whenever I feel like it.
Oh, see, there we go. We got the trifecta. Only one of those games the chat might not cringe at.
Sorry that I bricked up your microphone, Captain. Little side effect that happens sometimes.
It's all unbricked now. We keep things unbricked.
Keep things on bricks.
Yeah.
Easier to get bricks if it's on bricks. You go to 0 to 100. I say right from 6 to midnight. You build that little house. Big Bad Wolf got nothing on you.
I have concerns.
I think I got it all out.
Are you sure? Are you sure you got it all out?
No. Definitely not.
No. Eric, what have you been playing lately, man?
I played through the demo of Princess Peach, and that was actually a whole lot of fun. And then I went back to Lightroom hunting. So I think I'm at 95 right now, something like that.
Did you complete all the cakes?
I completed all the cakes. I didn't get all of the cookie ones. Kind of got me. I wasn't sure what I was doing at first.
Okay, and the cookie ones, cookie part of the demo, I got easy, dude. The cakes, dude. That last one,
I got the last one. I may not have gotten the chocolate one where you had to make that funky angel bell shape thing. That one was goofy, but that last one, that
pisses me off. Then again, I dominated the cookie portion. So if you combine Eric and I together, we failed. We 100% of the game.
There you go.
Just a demo, of course. I don't even think it transfers into the final game, anyways.
Oh.
All right, cool. Jake, have you been playing anything lately? Or are you just getting too bricked up?
Been playing with myself. That means single player games. Get your head out of the gutter. I've been playing I've been finally playing the Teal Mask DLC. So I just started that. And I think I was playing something else too. Can't remember, but I know we wanted to keep this part short, so I've been back to Pokemon. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Let me see. Geez, I've been playing actually quite a bit lately. Still a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just a little bit further into it. Because here's the thing, I'm about to list off a bunch of stuff I've been doing. We finished off our 100% run of Majora's Mask. Let's see. We started Hogwarts Legacy today. Hadn't played that game yet, and I'm having a damn good time playing it on Switch. By the way, don't come at me. I know it's significantly better on the other platforms, but I will say, it actually is pretty damn good on Switch. I understand like the loading part. I can get why that can bug some people. I don't know. I grew up with load screens, so it doesn't really matter. The game actually looks visually better than I expected on Switch. Everyone acted like you were playing a Nintendo 64 game. It is not that. It's actually pretty good looking. It's actually one of the better looking games on Switch. But here's the thing. Once you play the other versions, you realize how much better looking it can be on top. But I think they did a pretty good job porting it. Lots of frame rate issues, though. If you can't handle frames dipping into like the 20s, it might not work well for you. But thankfully, the game doesn't require that much precision. So it ends up not, at least so far. I'm like 2-3 hours in. It doesn't require too much precision. All the cutscenes are fantastic. And it's a heavy story game, so you spend a lot of time in cutscenes, anyways. So I don't know. I'm having a good time with it, and Hogwarts itself is amazing, man. They really fully realize that place. It's great. Love it. And then let me see. So Madden, of course. I just need to shout that out. I'm 9-1 in my league. I think this might be the Super Bowl year, baby. Dude, and the thing is, I am the Chargers. It's year 2. We traded Justin Herbert, told him to get his ass out of town. Said, you know what? Oh, the Chargers, they have a screwed cap situation. In real life, they cut Mike Williams for it. Well, in the game, I traded Mike Williams and I traded Justin Herbert and said, get off my team. We're running the Deshaun Watson show now, baby. 7-year deal.
That's really interesting. Let's talk about video games.
Yes, it's a video game.
I've never felt more lost in a conversation.
I'm talking about what I'm doing in a video game.
What you're saying is, when I was talking about getting bricked up, that resonated with you.
That more, well, no, but more than anything to do with football. Look, I'm Canadian. Okay, we don't do the football.
You're Canadian. Well, hey now, there's Canadian Football League. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but who cares?
Yeah. Exactly.
Other Canadians, maybe. I actually don't know.
I don't
cross the border. I don't talk to enough Canadians to know if they actually care about anything to do with Canadian Football League.
Next time you talk
maybe
to
it's
Corey.
just all former Americans that moved to Canada going to the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. So
I don't blame them. Time to exodus the country. All right. Besides that. I don't have any other games I'm going to go over. There's one more I could have talked about, but you know what? We're not going to sit here and talk for 45 minutes on this. I mean, I'll just restart will come in and collab about something at some point. But
yeah,
I do want to note that we do have a sponsor for the channel this month, Aura. If you guys are curious and checking out Aura, we have it pinned in the comment, especially if you're in the United States, because it's a United States sponsorship. We have a 14-day free trial. They are a identity theft protection company. So if your emails, if you're worried about your emails leaking, your passwords leaking, they offer a whole bunch of different protections. They got their own VPN service. They do have identity theft insurance up to $1 million. It's up to you. You don't have to put in your social security number and give it to them to check the whole world if it's been stolen or not. But that is an option.
Your social security number.
No. Anyways, they're also the official sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Robert Downey Jr. and so many other big famous people. So pretty big company, pretty legit. And guess what? It's a great way to support the channel because every sign up to the free trial, just the 14-day free trial, you don't even need to keep it, sends a cool $200 to Nintendo Prime's pocket. So I'm just saying, if you're in the United States, you want to help good old Nintendo Prime out, check out Aura for free. And if you hate it, dump that shit tomorrow. It's cool. Still helps the channel. Thank you so much. Shout out to Aura because of them, I found out that my social security number was stolen. I didn't know that. Someone's been applying for jobs in Wisconsin with my social security number. Without me knowing.
If I got a job there, I could live there. We could be close to each other. We could hang out more. We're friends. Okay, sorry, surprise.
Anyways, so that's why, shout out to them. I got that all sorted out. Had to go get a new social security, waiting for it in the mail. It is what it is. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into our very, very first topic. Kind of light topics this week, but look. As it says in there, Switch attached these nuts. Look, guys, there's been a supposed rumored leak. It's not really a rumor. It actually happened. It's a survey that YouTube ran on, the other day, over the weekend or so, that asked, hey, which console would you prefer to buy? And it said PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and then Switch Attach, which Switch Attach is not a known name of any Switch device. And the interesting part, of course, and this is where people start to maybe think, man, why should we believe this? It could have just been AI generated. It could have been some stupid bullshit. Who cares? They're just making it up, making a guess like everyone else with Switch 2. You are correct outside of 2 instances. One, the Nintendo Switch OLED name actually leaked from a YouTube survey before it was announced. So they literally had it's something, I can't remember what the question was, and one of the options was Nintendo Switch OLED Edition, which is exactly what it's actually called. It's called OLED Edition if you actually look at the manual. So it's like, okay, so they actually leaked this thing before a prior version of Switch through the same method. And 2, if you remember, there's those old rumors about how they were supposed to reveal it this month, and Nintendo might have bought advertising space for it originally and pulled the ad space because they're pushing it back. But maybe YouTube planned the survey for after the reveal, and then they just never took the survey down on their back end. And that would be how YouTube would actually, that's the biggest thing. Why would YouTube know the name? Well, because Nintendo buys advertising through YouTube, and YouTube's got to manually approve all of that. So they would have been aware of it if Nintendo was buying advertising space. So that's basically how that all goes together. And the big question is, 1, do we think they actually leaked the name, or at least what the code name or whatever Nintendo was going to reveal it as? And 2, do we like it? And 3, if it isn't it, then what the hell do we want this thing to be called? And if it is it, what does it mean? What does it imply? So Switch Attach, real, fake? What are we talking about?
I'm gonna say I want it to be fake, but I'm gonna say real, just because, like you mentioned about the OLED model leaking ahead of time. It's like, if it's happened once, it gives it a little more credence. I want it to be fake because I don't like it. But I've also been hearing,
what a dumb name.
I've also been hearing Nintendo Switch 2 for like the last 3 years. So I'm kind of just attached to that name.
Oh,
So
nice.
I don't know. You could go a lot of places with attach, but I don't know. It's just dumb. And I don't want.
I mean, it could just be like
gives
a
me Wii U
development name or a
vibes.
code name or internal code name or something like that, and not a final name. But part of what casts sort of doubt on it is the lack of Nintendo branding. Like, it just says, I've seen the image of the survey, it just says Switch Attach. Whereas Nintendo, whenever they do any marketing or branding with the Switch, it's always Nintendo Switch, not just Switch.
Could
Well,
it
I've
not
noticed a
be
YouTube survey.
like an
So the
accessory
thing-
for the next Switch
Yeah.
or the current Switch?
Yeah, that's what it
Could it be
sounds
a
like.
real
Yeah.
accessory?
That thing is that what I really don't like about it is it doesn't sound like clear enough about, is it a successor or an accessory? And
Yeah,
it would
so
be
Wii
like
U all
naming the
over again, they
successor
call
to
it that.
the Wii U, right? Like, who would think to do that? So so I just, I'm not optimistic. I really hope that that's not the case. I just think it's the worst name, and it does not communicate clearly what the console is. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Switch 2, honestly, as lame and redundant as it sounds, I legit think Switch 2 would just be a better name, because at least you know what it is.
Right.
It's there.
Yeah, but then we see it, and what they show is that the Switch 2 has a ton of attachments, and that's why it's called Switch Attach.
Yeah, I guess, but you could already.
I'm not trying to sell you on the
Joy-Cons to
name. That's the
original.
only thing. Like, I kept thinking, why would, if this is the name, why the hell would they call it that? I mean, we had a patent before about a possible detachable screen. So, like, okay, maybe you can optionally buy a second screen that attaches to it, and then you get your DS, 3DS kind of NSO stuff, and maybe some other unique gameplay gimmicks. Maybe there's more than Joy-Cons you can attach to the thing now. Maybe there's other weird accessory things, which takes us back to the Wii era of all the billion accessories for that. So, I mean, look, there's a bunch of possibilities if the name is attached. I just don't know why you would call it that.
Right.
Well, yeah, and my thing is, like, any YouTuber that would make a clickbaity video, like, implying that could possibly be the new name, just irresponsible. Probably, like, an unattractive person as well. This is just, hypothetically speaking.
1,000% true, by the way.
Just kidding. I would 100% get bricked up by them.
She can get bricked up by them, but I don't even know who you're talking about. So, anybody on this show.
I'm just assuming you made a video about it. I don't even know if you did.
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw the survey myself. It popped up on my phone, and I didn't really feel like I needed to take a screenshot. There was already a very public one out there. It's just the same thing. It's interesting because YouTube does these surveys on their own. So like, Cap, you bring up, oh well, it's not very Nintendo. Like, well, Nintendo didn't make a survey including PlayStation 5 and Xbox. That was Nintendo, YouTube that did that. So that would be why they probably just dropped the Nintendo, just to make it shorter when they're making the survey, look more attractive on the survey. Because everyone, like I know we all attach like Nintendo Switch and titles and stuff, but like no one says Nintendo Switch on.
Nick,
That's all. Hey, do you have your Switch?
Can we run a poll in the chat?
I mean, yeah.
Not what you think would be the next Switch name, but what would you want? And the choices are Switch 2.
Okay, hold on. Let me type it up.
Just that. Okay. Just Switch 2. Those are the only options. Switch 2 or
Switch Attach.
Super Nintendo Switch. Everyone wants Super Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
for
Super Nintendo Switch, the third one.
We could have 4 options.
And the last one, the Nintendo Brick.
Oh, jeez.
It just sounds like your console.
I just want to see what the people want.
Just it kind of sounds like your console died, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Oh, my Nintendo bricked. That doesn't sound good.
Dude, I'd buy that all day.
Yeah,
gives a whole new meaning to the term Switch bricked.
Let's see what the people want. Miyamoto, if you're watching, pay attention to the poll.
I don't know if I want to vote legit or if I want to vote the meme.
Who says it's a meme? That's legit. Legit. Look, I don't want my current Switch to be bricked. It's the next one.
Honestly, what's crazy is the 0% for the Switch attached. That's what's crazy. That's real.
It literally is 0. Not a single person wants it to be this name. See, Nintendo, that should be the biggest thing. Yeah. People would rather meme name it than call it Switch attached.
100%. Oh, 3%.
Wow. The only reason they did that was to be different. You were waiting so long to vote on that. You're not special.
Whoever voted
watch it start coming ahead. Watch it start coming ahead. It's catching up.
You need to come 11 forward and confess.
I'm disappointed in the Switch bricked. Only 1 out of every 5 of you wants that.
Well, Switch 2, you can see, is clearly in the lead. And the thing is, and I've been saying this whole time about the name, like this would be like Nintendo to drop a dumb name like this. They have a long history of just doing stupid ass names. Even the 3DS, like, oh, it's clever because 3D. No, it ain't clever. Nobody knows what the fuck this thing is. It bombed at launch. It's actually a worse selling handheld. And, maybe that wasn't such a great name. You could have called it Nintendo DS2 and it still had the 3D function, and it might have did better. Because here's the funny thing about numbers, and I know they're super boring, but the consumers are used to numbers representing the next thing. Every device does it. Guys, look, I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max. What do you think the next iPhone after the 15 is going to be called?
The iPhone 13?
16? Yeah, the 13. We're counting down now.
Wow.
Yeah,
unless it was, did they skip one and then they skipped 9 and then went to 10? They went
they did that. They did do that. That's right. We can't put it past them. 16 might be too bricked. They need to go straight to 17. Anyways, but it'll still be a bigger number. So there is that. Every device does that. All of our phones do that. All our computers do that. All the even computer components, goes from 1100K to 1200K, 1300, 1400. Same with the AMD stuff. Same with pretty much every single thing we have out there besides revisions of a platform. And revisions are different because they're not meant to be a new generation. But every time there's a new generation, it always just goes up in numbers. And look, I hate saying this, but there's one video game company that has consistent generation sales. Yeah.
Yes.
Generation after generation sales. And they've been using numbers since the second one. And of course, this is the PlayStation. You can pretty much guarantee every PlayStation is going to sell 100 million plus. The only one that didn't.
Numbers since the first one. The first revision of the PlayStation was called the PS1.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that.
You can say that because it's true.
I know, but I don't call it a PS1. I just call it a PlayStation.
Right, and then the revision was called the PS1, and that's what was written on it.
See, I don't care about the revision. I'm talking about the launch. Come on.
But but the first one to be numbered was the PS1.
Okay. Yeah. You got me there.
Oh,
You got me
cute.
there.
All right. Just kidding.
I mean,
He's like, finally, I got Nick to say he's wrong.
Technically
Anyways,
correct.
technically
That's
correct.
the best
We
kind of
both were
correct.
technically correct, but you were correct about which one was the first
No,
one.
no. Shut up with that.
Because when it originally launched, it was just called PlayStation. I'm just saying.
He
Yeah,
will
that's
fight
how he
this
said it
till
first.
death.
Anyways,
He will fight this to the death, Jake.
well, we were both right.
I know.
Your original statement
Technicalities.
was the first one. Was they started doing it from the second one, which was
Well,
not
I
true.
meant that from the
But
very
you-
beginning.
okay, what you
when it
meant,
launched.
Oh.
what you
But
said,
technically,
bud.
I actually
What
just
is
realized
marketing?
something about
Did
the
first
subject.
revision be the second one?
Oh,
Oh, a revision.
ooh.
Anyways,
Oh, God.
no. But no, like my point was that look, I'm not saying that Sony hits a home run with every platform, but it's just look, their lowest selling home console using numbers is 80 million, which would have been before the Wii Nintendo's best selling home console. So like Nintendo, take note, like it's okay to just be lame and call things a number because consumers understand if I own a Switch and they just hear the word Switch 2 is launched, they go, oh shit, FOMO, I need the new thing. I need my new Switch. My Switch is out of date. I need the new one.
Well, here's the thing. It's not okay to be lame, and Switch 2 isn't lame. It's just plain. Switch Attach is lame as fuck.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That is lame.
That's fair. That's fair.
Maybe
Like
it's the
we knew it was
Switch.
lame.
Maybe it's the Switch attach because it's going to be like built-in VR and you can attach it to your face.
I don't want that.
And
but will it have
wait.
a
And this
handle?
people thinks it's not an accessory. How exactly?
Will it have a handle? That's what
No.
I want to know.
Will it have a head?
No.
Wait.
No
Will it have a
handle, no
handle?
head strap. You got to
It's
lay on
no
your
handle.
back.
That
Keyboard.
proves the
And
let
GameCube
it
is
rest
still the
there.
best console ever.
So
because
they're
it
now
has a handle.
bundling Labo and Switch together.
Yes.
Calling
And calling it Switch Attach.
Attach.
There's your next gen system.
Jesus.
That's
Perfect.
it.
You
Man.
can attach anything to your face. I can attach my grandmother to my face. All right.
But you shouldn't.
Not a cool name.
But you should not do that.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's the Switch attach
Exactly, you should
because
not.
you're supposed to be. No, that doesn't work. I was gonna say like attaching with others, like connecting and playing in
Yeah.
person.
I
Like,
swear if they
connect-
try to say we're supposed to attach to our friends, I'm gonna have a real problem with that marketing.
Make
I'm
some
gonna have a real problem
attachments.
right quick. Oh my kids, why don't you go attach together? Actually, no.
No.
Fix one rule. Go back
Yeah,
to
that
COVID
actually
rules.
is
Split
true.
apart.
Like, hey mom, can I go attach with my friends?
We need
Oh my
to
God.
separate
It's
the
okay
boundaries.
with Mario.
This reminds me
Mario's
of
gonna
when
attach with us.
when I was
geez.
younger, my mom used to think the term hooking up meant like meeting up and hanging out with people. So she'd constantly ask me if I was hooking up with my friends. And I'm like, Mom, you need to stop
No.
saying
Maybe-
that.
Maybe your mom's just like really like. All right, never mind. I won't finish that.
No, let's not.
I'm sorry. What's it called? Have you guys seen that meme where it's like it's like someone texting their mom and it's like, oh my god, like I almost ate ass the other day.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're like, what?
I've seen
And they're like, yeah, it's like, what do you think eating ass means, mom? It's like, she's like, it's when you slip on ice and you fall and you almost and you eat ass. And it's like, who told you that? Who's you been hanging out with?
LOL, lots of love.
What's
So
up,
that's what I
Andres?
did after somebody died. You know? Oh god.
Andres, how are you, man? It's nice to see you.
Hey, yeah, it's been a little bit. I'm doing good.
I'm
I
gonna
just
get
got back from what? What?
The fact that you
I'm
brought
gonna
up
go-
ass reminded me of what Skip Bayless said the other day on
Oh,
Twitter
God.
when he said, all in my ass.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah,
and
but
then
there
he
was a
put the
comma.
Yeah, you put the comma. The comma is the clearest thing. But everyone, even Spawn Wave, everyone responded to just like, dude, this is not the tweet.
I mean,
This is
when I
not
saw,
the tweet to make."
I didn't respond to it, but when I saw it, I didn't see the comment at first. Like, so it wasn't.
And the funny thing is, like, he's an older guy, so he probably like you could think, oh, it's intentional for attention. I don't think he did it intentionally for attention.
No, I think he's senile.
Well, because he's talking about he's obviously talking about the Cowboys, but no, there's no Cowboys mentioned in it. And they didn't make a move in free agency day one. So he's like, all in my ass. I'm like, dude, that is not the tweet. That is not the tweet to make. Oh man.
Unless
I hope that I'm never like drunk enough someday that I just drop something like that on Twitter and I wake up the next day with 10 billion retweets and everyone trolling me. Saying, oh shit.
Dude, knowing you, I mean, it's kind of already happened. So
Well, I haven't said anything all in my ass on Twitter.
Look at this.
nah, but
I
you've
haven't
said
confident that.
you've said some really weird stuff in the past on different places, and you've definitely been like,
that
shit.
gets me bricked.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And that
Yeah, but not like all in my ass. That's a little.
You haven't said all in your ass.
Unless-
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
unless
You saw the wink, right? Just saying, I wasn't the only one that saw that.
I will.
Audio listeners, Cap's winking a little too much. Over there. All right.
That's how you get unbricked. So take us away.
Whoa.
So, as Andres restarts over there having his post-workout snack or meal or whatever the hell he's chowing down.
It's I've already had dinner. This is dinner 1.5, and then I'm gonna have dinner 2.0 after the show.
Nice.
Three
So it's a
dinners.
snack. It's a snack. Yeah, but I didn't have breakfast, so
Okay. Well, I was gonna go to you because we were talking about this damn Switch attach name, and I've purposely not watched any of your videos because I'm like, I don't want to just start repeating what you're saying. Like, what are you thinking about this weirdness?
So if you look at my channel, right? Typically, if there's like a big Switch 2 rumor, I'll like do a lot of research, right? And it'll probably be like I try to make them comprehensive.
Yeah.
This was a 3-minute video that I made in like an hour, if even that. In part because of timing, you know, my grandma's been sick and stuff like that, and she's gonna
You're
live.
just
She's
talking
fine.
about grandmas.
Yeah, but someone else is dying. Anyway, sorry. I
thought
just
you
didn't
were
think it
dying.
was that serious, right? I thought it was worth mentioning, but I didn't want to put too much heat on it, right? So that's why it's a 3-minute video as opposed to like a 15-minute video, right? That all said, I mean, I'm not saying it can't be real. You know, based off what I understand, you know, and this is just purely hearing from what other people have kind of said about it, like with the YouTube surveys. Sometimes it's true, but other times it's not. So it's one of those things where like it might be. And I think it's odd because you look at attach and it definitely kind of gives you like Wii U vibes in the sense like it's literally screaming, hey, I'm a peripheral or an attachment, which was part of the Wii U problem. And only part though, right? Because I think, let's say hypothetically Nintendo did do this. I don't think they will. I'm going to go out on a fat limb and say that it's not the actual name, but maybe it's a placeholder. Maybe it's a code name. Maybe it's just AI generative bullshit. We're not sure, right? But let's say it is, hypothetically speaking. I don't think it's like it spells the end for Nintendo's like marketing of Switch 2 because they didn't market Wii U well. They didn't brand it well. Had they come out and they marketed it at the right audience, if they had a killer lineup from the get-go, if they really sold us on what it was, the bad name and the confusion, they would have been fine, right? Like imagine if Wii U launched with Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey in the first like 6 months. And they targeted the system for 20 to 30-year-olds. And it had some cool third-party games like Skyrim. It would have done a lot better than it did, but it didn't. They did that with the Switch. So I kind of think that, you know, regardless of what name they choose, they're going to be fine. I think they're going to market it towards the 20, 30s, and 40-year-olds as they did with Switch. And then after the first couple of years, then they'll start branding for smaller kids so they can reach a larger audience as they've done with Switch. They're going to have the games. It's going to be a better system. So I'm not worried in terms of a success perspective. Maybe it'll take a minor hit if they choose attach. But also, Nintendo's been successful with dumb names before, like Nintendo Wii, for example. You could even argue that with Switch, when we first heard it, it wasn't like, oh, that's amazing. There was definitely like a little bit of a transition period for us to kind of sort out what it was. And even when it was rumored, right? Like when we just heard about like the Eurogamer reports, some of us didn't want to believe it because it didn't make sense. But once Nintendo started marketing it and showing and branding it to us, we're like, oh, this kind of works, right? So even if it is a name, I'm going to wait until Nintendo actually like shows their cards themselves before I really draw conclusions. But I'm going to guess it's probably not the name just because it doesn't, the YouTube survey thing, I think there's a chance it's a leak, but most likely it's something else.
Okay. I'll say I wasn't ever confused about Switch, but that's me. Because the first time I heard the name was when they revealed the reveal trailer, which literally the guy is playing on his TV and then literally grabs it out of the dock and goes on a walk with his dog. Oh, he just switched to a new form of play.
I mean, I'm on the same
that means
side as you, right? Like I figured it out during the 3.5 minute trailer.
Yeah, it was very obvious.
Like,
it was very clever marketing. How
my figuring it out phase, getting used to it phase was 2 minutes, not 3 months.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. The rumors on it being a hybrid and stuff, that people were kind of like, "Oh, it makes sense," but then does it? How does that even work? You can't have
it didn't really click until we saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh God, please don't make the new console called Switch Click.
No, it's the Switch Snap.
Please don't make it click.
Yeah.
Myth Click would probably explode.
Oh,
Actually, yes, that's true.
What do you mean by that?
Wait a minute.
Our audience would grow more so.
What do you mean by that?
She would gain a larger viewership in terms of people, quantity of people, not size of the people.
Whoa. Why do you have to say that?
Are you sure her viewers wouldn't literally
Explode?
You know what? I don't like where this is going.
This is what happens when Jake Rundle tries to start a conversation with me. It ends up going down a very slippery slope. It's a fun ride, though. It's always a good time. Once we're at the bottom, we're like, "Whoa, that was a ride. Let's do it again."
Let's do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it again. Oh, you guys. Okay. Well, it's interesting. Let's say that this was the name. Why would it be the name? Like, what does it mean? What's the point of it? Just entertaining the thought of it.
Well, I mean, I think the first thing that comes to mind is a patent we saw, right? Where there was the 2 screens and the attachment that you could take off, which doesn't seem like something that's financially feasible without making it a really expensive system.
What do they do? Include the second screen in the box? That's expensive.
Well, if there's 2 screens, like if we're talking about 2 8-inch LCD panels,
that's way more than necessary.
And we're talking about a handheld that's going to have maybe raw power around PS4 level, I don't know. And then there's still Joy-Cons and a dock and an HDMI cable and a surge protector or whatever, or whatever you call it, the AC adapter.
No, they go the Apple route. They don't include any of that anymore. You already have it.
It's got to be a progressive, removing things one generation at a time. So this one, they won't
give you the
include
cable with a
the
brick,
little
though.
grip.
It's separate. It's separate.
Yeah,
I would.
There's no charging port for the console.
There's no dock.
No charging port.
I know we're joking.
Wireless Qi charging now.
Yeah. I know we're joking, but this is only possible if they're having frequent releases of hardware, which they're not. When we look at the Nintendo's handhelds, when they have multiple revisions per generation, you do see them take off the charger from the box, right? But that's because they've released multiple versions of the system per generation. We're talking about next generation console. That's not going to happen. Apple releases 5 phones per year. So true. They can get away with that.
Yeah, they can. Man, I think if they use the name attach, it's going to be for more than just a possible optional second screen that you could buy. I feel like there would be other ideas. This would be kind of if you remember the Wii days, they had a ton of different accessories. And while we have a bunch for Switch, we don't have a lot of official ones. I feel like maybe this could start a whole line of official attachments besides just a screen. I don't know what those attachments would be. Obviously, Nintendo's the creative geniuses. What if it's as simple as, hey, we didn't put a camera on it, but we do sell a camera and we have a USB-C port on top now, and you can just attach a camera and now you get AR capabilities right with the system. But it's an optional thing that you just attach to it. And they start to just advertise a bunch of different accessories like that are all optional, because it keeps the base system way cheaper to sell those as their own thing if you don't want any of that stuff.
Would they brand a whole console around a bunch of optional accessories?
Yes.
That doesn't... that feels
Nintendo.
Weird.
My concern then is that developers, both inside and outside of Nintendo on the software side, wouldn't use any of them,
Yeah.
like any of the
Exactly.
accessories, because they'd be like,
So,
oh well,
I'll
most
say
people
this.
probably don't
I'll
have
say this.
this.
Was
piece of
Wii
hardware.
Motion Plus used? It was originally an accessory.
Yeah, but it
Some
launched
times.
way far into the console's life cycle.
Right.
And like
while they
3
did-
games
well,
used it.
I bring it up because they
And
bundled
one of
it-
the big games that used it, Skyward Sword, came bundled with it because
I
no
know.
one had it.
That's what I'm saying.
sports.
Bundle it in
Fuck
with the
all
game
these
as an
sports.
option. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but third-party developers won't touch any of it though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
one
don't
of the
think
cool
they
things
care
about
about third party
is that-
devs, to be clear. I don't think Nintendo cares anything
They
about what
do.
they're doing.
Fair.
They say we
They care
already
about-
gave you a powerful enough system to do ports. Is that not good enough? And you're not
What was the
satisfied.
last game to use the IR camera on the Joy-Cons?
There was
Um,
something
the
besides
silence is
1-2
very
Switch, but I don't
loud
remember
right
what
now.
it is.
Labo used it.
Nintendo Labo used it.
Silence
Labo
is
used it,
deafening.
but I think there's other games that use it. I think there's even indie games that use it.
I'm sure there is,
I'm sure, but
but they
also,
just are niche.
yeah.
No,
And
the
that's
I'm
built
literally
in
looking
right in
now. I know. I remember
with the
seeing a
console.
couple.
That's built
I-
right in, not sold separately.
did Game Builder Garage use it? Game Builder Garage is awesome, by the way.
I never had it.
Ring Fit Adventure uses it to track your heart rate.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
You're right. Ring Fit does.
That's probably one of the
actually
biggest uses because that's a huge game.
Extremely cool.
Yeah, it's a great use of it. All the Labos use it, obviously.
Those are all Nintendo games.
Game
though.
Builder Garage, Spy Alarm.
Game Builder Garage does use
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, Game Builder Garage uses it.
That
Resident
fucking
Evil
AAA
Revelations.
monster Spy Alarm. Forgot about that one.
Resident Evil
point
Revelations
bringing
uses
this
it
up,
for a reload, so you cover the sensor and it reloads your gun.
that's neat.
Oh.
That could be a button press though. My concern is
Brain
that that's a function that's built right into the controller that comes with the console, right? You don't
Yep.
need any accessories. So and no one uses that, or there are very few use cases for it.
Here's
And
another big
so
game that uses
if
it.
your accessories have to be sold separately,
Ninjala.
no developers
also
are going to
uses
touch
it.
them.
For those who don't know about Ninjala,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
actually a
I'm
pretty
sure
popular game.
everyone's here, played through Ninjala plenty of times.
I
Dude, it's got like
forgot
12 million
Ninjala
players on Switch. What are you
existed.
talking about?
Yeah.
The Switch exclusive game. A
I
huge
forgot
I
it
am-
existed.
I am all 12 million of those players. I'm
you
huge.
probably, you
That's
just,
impressive.
you bought it. You see, you're botting the game. I get it. All right, it was
no,
it is free to play.
I've been going to the gym. I am big now.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
That's what he's
He's
saying.
growing. You might
right.
say he's exploded.
And then
Exactly.
Vitamin
All over.
Connection. Some indie game uses it as well. So
What?
brain training. Yeah. It's used to interact with a maze mechanic to get distance calculations, apparently. And then the
Okay.
other big game, the big brand name game would be Brain Age. That one uses it too. So anyway, so there are some,
Wait,
but
Are there
it's a
any
very
straws
minuscule
left, or
amount.
are you done grasping?
I'm just pointing out that like there are games that use it, just because it's not like
There are
popular.
There are like 11,000 Switch games in existence, and
we have, like,
there
maybe
was
10.
like 12 games that that use this thing.
But
What's
that's
the
what Nintendo
percentage
does.
on that?
But see,
Like
what you're
1%?
proving though, Cap, is like, look, there might only be 10 games that are going to use that attachable camera, but there will be those 10 games.
They'll market.
It's
the
just a very
hell out of it, though.
Nintendo thing to
But let
do
me ask you
something
a question.
barely anyone uses.
Let me ask you another question though. Of those 10 games, if there wasn't the IR camera, would they still exist? And I think the answer is yes across the board.
Yeah, Resident
1-2
Evil would
1-2
just make
Switch
it a
wouldn't
button
exist.
press to
I
reload.
guarantee
your
1-2
gun.
Switch wouldn't exist. 1-2 Switch would be out of here.
They would have
Use
different
the
games.
Different mini games. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It would,
still exist.
it would
More
be a
cow
different game.
milking. I got it. More cow milking.
Wait,
Perfect.
It's also a terrible game. So
maybe
Triple udders.
attach is referring to the, and this, I don't know, maybe they'd never do this, is they're going to put a game in the box so it has a high attach rate.
That's a funny one. That's hilarious.
I think it probably has something to do with
Nintendo
this.
go back to packing in a game. Yeah. Good luck
Whoa.
with that.
Whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Oh,
You just
wait.
attached
I
something to your
just hope
Switch?
that one
Wait a
day
second.
some video game manufacturer packs in a game called Fudge with their console.
Hell yeah.
No, watch.
I
Attach
just
is
want
just a-
Fudge packing.
they
Does it
get
come with-
they
Imagine
crack the
working in that
Joy-Con
warehouse.
name and they
Is there
call them
chocolate bar?
attaches. So you're attaching your attach because that makes a whole lot of sense.
can you imagine if
Maybe-
you bought a console though and there was actually like a chocolate bar in there you could eat? That would be kind of neat.
Probably be melted.
So you buy a brand new one from the back of the store 10 years from now, and it's like, dude, some 10-year-old chocolate baby.
Going at the
It has-
retro
that
gaming
chocolate
store
bar might be
in
worth
20 years,
millions at that
Yeah,
point.
right.
Chocolate
Yeah.
can last a good
They're
while.
like-
packaged.
The secondhand market would be insane.
Team
with
up
people
with
posting these
Mr.
on
Beast.
Facebook Marketplace.
Perfect marketing.
Chocolate still in package.
You want to
Yeah,
hit
you gotta
mass
keep that
market,
temperature
pack
control.
a Feastable in. We're good
It's
to
like
go.
the Metroid Prime 2 demo cookies. You know,
Oh, is that a
that's a
thing?
real thing.
Yeah, that is a real thing. Yeah,
I
That's a
have
real
to
thing.
eat one now.
You have one?
There is some on eBay.
My tongue's like a
I wouldn't
mixture of
suggest
orange
touching
and
them.
green.
I
It looks
wouldn't
will
touch
terrifying.
watch-
them anymore.
I will watch a video of someone eating one of those today.
There's just no
Me
way.
too.
Those gotta be.
I
Those
want
might
I'm
kill
gonna do it
you.
right before
I
I
Those
want
might
fall
Jake-
kill you today.
Jake. If you're listen to me,
Jake,
wanna
you're
see
the
a
one,
video.
Jake. You're the one.
You're the
Jake.
only one.
You're gonna eat this cookie.
I
It's
need a
spoiled,
video of you
rotten,
eating
and
I
gonna
can
kill
put it on my
you.
OnlyFans.
There you go.
and your audience will grow. So
Isn't it true that Twinkies have like
In
a
more
really
ways than one.
don't
They will
Twinkies
explode.
last for a really long time?
I think
What?
the outside, yeah. Like the cream will still look fine, but it gets hard. But the outside lasts, like the preservatives in that thing lasts like forever.
I'm
It's
just
still
gonna
squishy.
not say anything.
It's kind of
Right.
like the McDonald's burger. You get one cooked and it just still looks the same in like 10 years. I won't say you should eat it. There's definitely something wrong with it. But
We'll move on.
hey, you're the one that brought
Guys,
up the Twinkie.
Have you guys
Wasn't
ever
even
heard
on
of
me this
cookie-
time.
Yeah, let's talk about being fresh though. We're talking about unfresh.
Well, yeah, we were talking about unfresh about you were saying how long Twinkies last, and I was just noting that they actually don't. Like if you're talking about being fresh, it actually doesn't stay fresh. Anyway,
Shelf life of 25 days.
there you go.
Yeah, but that's not accurate.
Here we go.
They
How many
last for
Twinkies
years
are-
after the
How many
expiration.
Twinkies have you shoved in your hole?
Oh no.
I don't know. How many people are on the planet?
All in his ass.
9 billion or some shit.
There you go. That's a rough estimate, and I mean rough.
Oh boy. All right.
They're
So,
like moist little sponges. They're actually a delight. Sorry.
Right.
So we all
All right,
prefer to be called Switch 2. All right. next
Yeah,
up.
switch attaches
Okay, no,
out.
T. Before we just go to the next topic, we literally have
Oh.
like 2 topics.
I mean, yeah.
What
I
I
can
wa-
extend this one here.
and Eric hasn't said anything yet. So,
Oh, I thought he was talking the whole time.
Yeah, like I always do.
Talking too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. I want to go back on record and say that I have said this for a long time about this generation being about attachments. I would still think it should be called Switch 2, but if they want a cutesy name, they can play with the spelling of the word two and do either TOO or TO, and whichever one is grammatically
No, it's
correct.
two
I'm
Wii U.
never good at that.
Wii U.
But you'd still be referring to it as the Switch 2. So it makes verbally it sounds different.
I
It
don't know.
still sounds like Switch 2. But you're switching to VR, you're switching to AR, you're switching to camera, you're switching to this, to that, to this, with a whole bunch of attachments.
That's a really good idea. If the Switch 2 is basically like Rob, but it transforms all the time. Sometimes it's the robot that serves you drinks and popcorn. Sometimes it's a Nintendo gaming system. Sometimes it's a rocket ship. Like that would
people are
be the
describing
ultimate
that.
console.
What's the name of that robot from the Jetsons?
Rosie?
Rosie. Yeah. Rosie does like all those things.
I just
So-
want a box. I just want a box to plug into my TV and play Zelda on.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
I don't want to play with a toy. I just want to play.
Wait,
with
wait,
Just want-
Wait, Cap, are you saying that you don't want a hybrid console?
Actually, no. The hybrid form factor of the Switch is great,
So
but I still refer to it as
a
a
tablet
box.
that you
It's
can
just a-
put in a box. that you
So
can
Yeah.
take
what
into
you're
town.
saying
Alright.
is you want
Yeah, I don't want the thing to jerk me off.
I
So what
don't.
you're saying is you want to attach it to your TV.
I have people. I don't live alone.
Actually,
I have
wait a
family.
second.
I don't need to fill that void with.
Wait, let's reverse for a second. Actually,
Do we ever think about that? Maybe it's like a Fire Stick, and the attaches it's attaching to your TV.
So is it attached via HDMI?
Yeah,
That's my
I would
question.
put it past Nintendo to be like, we're
The
going with a
stick.
streaming stick, and I'd just be like,
$400
Did
streaming
we
stick.
no? Did we learn nothing from Stadia? Did we learn nothing?
That's
Stadia
on Google
works.
for not
Stadia.
having
That's
good
on
Stadia got way
Google.
better at the
Stadia
end, but
actually
it was already
worked.
doomed to fail by the
Stadia worked,
time it got
but
good.
no one wanted it.
because it didn't have Nintendo games.
Yeah,
If
but
Stadia had
not just on
Nintendo games?
It had
It-
games that you could buy for like.
you know what had
Yeah,
Nintendo
games you
games?
could-
for
The
any
Wii
other
U
console.
had
It had
Nintendo
games
games,
Different.
and no one
It
bought
games
the Wii U.
you don't own that you can't download that you can't take anywhere, and they take them away when the service ends. So without you charging you for a service, charging you for the individual game. So pay us $70 for Assassin's Creed for the privilege of streaming it until we tell you can't stream it anymore. That was the problem. It needed to be a service that you subscribe to, like Game Pass, that you just get to keep playing as long as you're subscribed. And they didn't do it that way. They went with stupidly expensive full price games in a streaming space. Nobody else does it that way, by the way. They were the only people doing it that way. And it was a dumbass thing to do, and people didn't want it. But it worked. Streaming wise, if you just want to talk about the technology, Stadia is the best example of game streaming almost being ready, because it worked even in coffee shops at 1080p. It's crazy how good Stadia
technically
was.
worked, but that doesn't mean that I want that.
I'm
That's
not
all
saying
I'm
that you
saying.
do.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm not
want.
saying that you do.
I want to buy it,
But you know the
and I want to
companies
take the
want that
box
future.
home with me, and I want to put the little thing into my game
Oh.
box and play the
Yeah.
game that way.
That feels
I'm
really
sorry-
good. To put it all
I'm
the way
sorry
in.
to break this news to you. I think in about 20 years there won't be physical games, and I'm sorry.
Don't worry, they'll sell you that.
It's
case
not my
for
fault,
$80.
by the way. That's
Dude,
not my fault.
Dude,
I bought
I'll be,
physical.
I'll be
I acknowledge
long
that.
gone. I don't give a fuck. Dude, I'm here for a short time and a bad time. All right. I'm not worried about it at all.
Do you say that because of the impending cookie eating that's going to kill you? Is that why?
I mean, something. If it's not that, something
If it's
is.
not the cookie,
I get into
If
a
it's
lot
not-
of shenanigans, my guy.
Yeah,
The
it's
slippery
not,
slope.
not that. It's gonna be.
Look
It's gonna be
Under-
the
okay.
infamous Wisconsin meetup.
Underneath me is the moist
But-
version of this.
terrible. But if game streaming does take off, Nintendo will be the last company to adopt it. They're not forward thinking enough for that. They're not progressive enough in their technological or business practices. They barely have online functionality working. Do we really expect them to come out swinging with a streaming stick? I do. Nah, I don't.
I don't think
I really
streaming
don't.
Dude, speaking of progressive,
that would be the best. How to be the best streaming stick of all time?
I
Like,
was,
with
I
latency
was
would be a
trying to get a-
concern.
Wait,
USB
what?
ports, where do they exist? Like it just. Also, the Switch wouldn't be able to overclock. Then you would have to. I mean, you could, but you would have to plug it into your wall, and then it's not clean. I don't think it's a
It's
good
dirty.
idea.
It's
You
not
might say.
clean.
Not clean, it's
Wait a
dirty.
second. Wait a second.
Can I just tell my car insurance story? All right, because he's talking about Nintendo not being progressive.
Yeah,
all right?
apparently not
Is
being
it about
clean.
progressive car insurance?
Yeah, I was trying to buy car insurance the other day, and the guy asked me what color my car was, and I was like, "Whoa, I thought you were progressive."
Oh, gee. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What do we do,
Sorry.
Jake?
That was a lot of
Jake-
build up for that.
Jake, I don't even. Do I even? I'm a loss for
boy.
words. It's rare you make me speechless.
But thank
Rare. You know what I am curious about though, since Andres wasn't here, what have you been playing lately? Did you get a chance to try out the Princess Peach demo? Actually kick its ass?
I live streamed me 100%ing it.
Oh, you 100%ed it. Damn, I came really close.
So impressive. Yeah, those 2 levels, so hard, so challenging. Man, can't wait to not buy the game. Yeah, it's okay. I played it. I don't feel. I actually think the levels are fun. I think the game has really nice animation work. But I also have zero interest in paying $60 to do more of that. I don't know.
Sadly.
It's not for me. I'm not a 60-year-old child. I don't know. I'm
a
not.
suck
Yeah,
then.
I mean, listen. You can. And people. There are a lot of people who can like Princess Peach Showtime. It's not for me. I've been playing Elden Ring instead, and
Wait, I didn't actually play the demo yet. What is it about it that isn't appealing to you? Like, describe how the game kind of.
It's not that it's not appealing to me. It is, but it's not appealing enough to me. I mean, I don't want to spend $60 on it. I'd rather spend my time on something else.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. It's just, I don't know. A lot of the game is very, for example, the first level, the timing is extremely easy to do a dodge.
Okay.
You don't really feel like you.
So it's like an easy game.
It's extremely easy.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Now that said, for example, I haven't played the Yoshi's Crafted World, but I'm more likely to buy Yoshi's Crafted World, and that game's also supposed to be
What
easy.
about Kirby Star Allies?
I played the demo and decided it wasn't worth buying.
Yeah. So based on when you compare those demos, which one was better? Just trying to gauge where this lands.
I don't know. I feel like this game's better based off memory.
Okay.
But I mean,
But like in that neighborhood, kind of.
so the reason why I feel like Princess Peach Showtime is more interesting than at least Kirby Star Allies, is because it's based off Peach. It's not something that they have really done. I mean, there was a Peach game for DS, but otherwise, you know, Peach is kind of its own thing, and there's variety to the gameplay because every level she has different powers and abilities and mini games, but they're all very simple, but they're fun. It's kind of almost like Mario Party with a narrative. That's kind of how I felt when I was playing. Playing it,
bad, but
yeah,
I wish it was
it's
more
cool.
challenging. Yeah,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's cool. It's just not for me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm making it sound worse than it is. It's fine. It's
No,
just,
I played the demo as well, and I just felt it was very like it was just like good but not great.
Yeah.
it was like a
Do you think
6
it's
or 7 out of
possible
10, you know?
that like later in the game, it's like a Mario game where like the beginning levels are super easy, but then there's levels that are like really challenging. Do you think
No.
this could be that type of game? Or
The thing is that
kinda-
like when you play like with the first level of Mario Wonder, even if it's like super easy, you're like, oh, I get the charm of it. Like I get what,
Yeah.
you know, and you
oh, it's kind of missing that.
and
Yeah, you
it's
can
like,
also get lost in the mechanics with Mario Wonder. Like you play the game, and there's a lot more level of interaction you have with the world. Like you can just have fun running around. With Princess Peach Showtime, you can do some things, but it's relatively simple.
there was nothing like wrong with it. It just like wasn't great either. It just was good.
I will
not
say,
great.
Yeah,
That's
all
why
right. I'm getting a better picture. I appreciate it.
one thing I will say that's worth noting, at least in my opinion, Peach can slide down rails. If you go down a rail, like if there's like a staircase and there's a rail, if you go to the back of the screen, and Peach will choose to slide down the rail as opposed to walking down, which is kind of cute.
That's cool.
It's just a nice little animation. That's it. The game has some charm.
Yeah,
I just don't feel like spending $60 on it.
yeah, fair.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of Princess Peach Showtime, next we're going to be talking about all of the 2024 stuff because we had some Mario Day stuff. Mario Movie 2, we have, well, maybe Mario Movie 2, could be something else. We have the entire lineup from Nintendo, anyways, from what we were aware of, anyways, set for the first half. We're going to talk about that and the second half in a moment because, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, this is sponsored by Aura, and I'm going to play a nice little ad for you guys quick, so stay tuned.
Ooh.
One morning, out of curiosity, I decided to Google my name, expecting the usual links to my social media, YouTube channels, all of that stuff, and maybe a few mentions on some websites here and there. But what I stumbled upon was a rabbit hole of data sites I'd never heard of before. Suddenly, I wasn't just a content creator, I was an open book. My kids' names, their ages, even their school information were all laid bare under my name. My family members' details, my parents, my grandparents were no exception. And to my horror, my private phone number was also floating out there. Now, I'm no stranger to the internet spotlight, but I had naively believed that some part of my identity remained private. That belief was shattered when a search for my fiance's name revealed our home address. How is it that such personal details are easily accessible by anyone with internet access? This wake-up call led me to Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me exactly which data brokers had my information and automatically submits opt-out requests on my behalf. The peace of mind that comes with knowing I'm taking steps to protect my family's online presence is invaluable. Beyond just cleaning up my digital footprint, Aura offers a comprehensive suite of tools to keep me and my loved ones safe online, including antivirus, virtual private networks known as VPNs, password management, and more, all in one affordable package. I guarantee your information is out there too on these data broker sites. I encourage you to Google yourself right now and see where you are compromised. If you do nothing, the best case scenario is maybe just some more spam. The worst case scenario is scammers and thieves use this information to target you and your bank accounts. For anyone who values their privacy as much as I do, I highly recommend checking out Aura. You can start a 14-day free trial by visiting aura.com/Nintendo Prime. It's also linked below in the description. Let's take back control of our online presence and protect what matters most. All right. You guys can go ahead to the pinned comment as well. We have, if you're here live, this is for you. By the way, one thing I didn't mention in the ad is this is for U.S. residents only. And yeah, if you sign up for the free trial, you don't even have to spend any money. You are helping out the channel. We do get a little kickback from them. Shout out to Aura, and shout out to them again for helping protect me from a data leak I wasn't even aware of. It's kind of crazy. People were applying with my social security number. Nuts, man. I had to go get a new social. So kind of crazy. I'm glad I know about it because it explains why I seem to get audited every year on my taxes. Now I know why, because someone else is trying to use my stuff. So that was really bad for me, but hopefully there's nothing that bad's going on for you guys. Doesn't hurt to check it out. Check out the free trial. Don't like it? Dump that shit tomorrow. I don't care. It still helps out the channel. All right, let's go ahead and get into this next topic, because we were just talking about Princess Peach Showtime. Let's dive in on the first half of 2024 and then what we think might happen in the second half, because the first half seems set. Now that we had Mario Day this last Sunday, they gave us dates. They gave us dates for the 2 already announced games from last year that we didn't have dates for. So just to go over what we already knew, Princess Peach Showtime comes out this month on the 22nd. Is anyone here buying it at all? No? Crickets? Okay.
Did you see that Nintendo announced that Mario Kart's getting bricked up next year?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man,
Yes.
all the bricks. I can't wait.
Actually,
Oh
Yes.
god. Oh, it feels so good. All the bricks, bro.
Oh,
Bricks
Yep.
up hard.
official collaboration, Nintendo and Lego making Mario
yeah.
Kart.
Stacking
yeah.
them.
2025. That's also led to people speculating that they might pair that with a certain game potentially here that might be due
Mario
since it's been like a decade.
Lego.
There you go, Mario Kart Lego.
I
Get
just
double
found out
bricked
Mario
up
Kart
next year.
bricked.
There we go. So we obviously have Endless Ocean Luminous that they announced in the last partner showcase that's coming out May 2nd, 2024. That is a Nintendo published game. And then the 2 big ones, Paper Mario 1000-Year Door got a date. It is also coming out in May on the 23rd. And then Luigi's Mansion 2 is coming out in the first part of summer here on the 27th. I'm actually going to be on a cruise when this comes out. So we'll see if I pick that up while I'm on the cruise. It's going to be pretty interesting. And that's all of the currently announced games from Nintendo. They all have dates. Besides, well, Metroid Prime 4, if we want to say technically it's been announced, but still TBA. They didn't even say it's coming this year yet. So
We don't know if it's a 2024
They
game
haven't
yet.
said
yeah,
anything.
it's a game that's been announced, so it's just listed as TBA. Technically, the status hasn't changed officially. So,
Can I ask you guys, like, where do you guys stand on Prime 4? Do you think it's coming out this year, or do you think it's a next year thing?
I try not to think about it because I get sad.
I mean, something's got to come out of holiday.
It's a good
Something.
idea.
yeah, I just kind of forget it exists. I don't even try to bring it up on the channel anymore.
I don't
mean,
think
you just
Metroid
did.
Prime 4 is coming before the Nintendo
Technically-
Switch attach.
You're not a Metroid fan, right, Nick? I
No.
think we talked about this last time. So you're
Yes.
unbiased.
Yeah, I'm unbiased. I don't know, man.
Are you even
Because you-
remotely interested in it? Like,
I
are
mean,
you
I'm-
intrigued
I
by the
like-
potential of it?
I liked Metroid Dread, but
Right.
I've never been interested in any of the Prime games. Like, I didn't pick up the remaster last year when it came out because
Yeah.
I just don't like Metroidvanias.
Just let's be clear. I'm not trying to out you here. Like, it's cool. We had this conversation already. What I'm just kind of curious on, is there any part of you that's like kind of excited for it, just knowing that it's this big Nintendo game that they've been working on for a long time, or not really?
I'm excited for the Metroid fans who have been waiting forever to hear about it, because I remember being a Zelda fan like before Tears of the Kingdom had a name and a trailer and a date and all that, and I remember how much it sucked to not know anything about this game that you're really excited for. So I'm excited in that aspect, but outside of that, no.
You're not, you don't have like there's this other big Nintendo game looming. You're just kind of like, all right, give me Mario.
So
All right,
you're
cool.
bricked up for other people to be happy, but you're not bricked up yourself for the
So
game.
basically, he's just a
Not
good
for
person.
Metroid Prime 4, no.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all right.
That's cool. Thanks
So-
for being bricked up for us, bro.
Yeah, man.
Means a lot.
I actually, as a pretty big Metroid fan, I actually would prefer it to come out for Switch 2. I want to get the cross-gen sort of thing going. So-
Yeah, if retro is like they know how to cook, is what I'll say. They if it's coming for a next gen console, they will make that game look and feel unreal, like absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'd be fine with waiting if that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm aligned. Go on. I didn't mean to
there's
interrupt.
I mean, I think I was interrupting Prime the whole time, but I just wanted to kind of, you mentioned something about we may know like the whole first half. You're already aware of this, I'm sure, but I think there's a good chance we're getting another Nintendo Direct, right? The rumors are April. I think that's probably true. And I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo Shadow drops an April game. What that might be, that's up for debate. Could be Prime 2 Remastered, could be Wind Waker, could be Luigi's Mansion 1. There's some options, but I'm just, Nintendo might like fit in one more kind of quick Shadow Drop remaster for April.
Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, baby. I'm just kidding. Those games are never coming.
I wonder if
What
April
comes first, those games or Metroid Prime 4?
Neither.
Those games.
Okay.
Although neither is a good option. I see neither.
Neither is
think-
my favorite option.
I think
Mario
April,
Kart
if
9.
if
comes
April
first.
has a game, if April has
Yeah.
a game, it's because there's a
Came out
direct
already.
and they shadow drop like Prime 2 remaster or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
that'll be it, though. I don't think they're gonna have anything else major for that because they're gonna be just focused on marketing the two big upcoming games in Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion, and then whatever they announce
Right.
for the second half. Of the year.
And that's why I suggested maybe a Luigi's Mansion 1 Shadow Drop.
Mhm.
Nothing like big, but basically like what they would pick in 1 and 2, right? It's the very basic.
you mean
take the game
seemingly what they
and-
also did with Luigi's Mansion HD too?
No, Luigi's Mansion 2 has had a visual overhaul that's taken time to make. I'm talking about like a dolphin emulation basically of Luigi's Mansion 1, but on
Which would look
Switch.
better than Luigi's Mansion 2. Sorry, I don't actually think Luigi's Mansion 2 HD looks good at all.
Well, I'm not interested in engaging in a debate on your opinion. So I'm not gonna
The entire
entertain that.
podcast is about opinions. What are we talking about?
No, listen, you can feel the way you're gonna feel, and I don't care. I'm just saying I think that they could do a quick kind of shadow drop for Luigi's Mansion 1. I think it would make sense.
I honestly think with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, it's kind of somewhere in between. Like the reality of it. I think it looks better than this 3DS version, but it doesn't look as
that's
good
not
as
hard to
Luigi's
do.
Mansion 3 either.
Well, it kind of
No,
has
you know what I'm saying?
to be in HD.
Just yeah, but I'm just saying.
That's
I
like
think
it-
you both
yeah.
are a little like you're both on the extremes where it's really more somewhere in the middle.
Well,
So-
but let me be clear. I don't think it looks as good as 3.
Right.
He was comparing it to Luigi's Mansion 1 for the Nintendo GameCube.
Actually, I was comparing.
I
was comparing it to HD versions of one on emulation. Actually.
Yeah, but it emulated. Fair, to be totally clear.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that I like the atmosphere and feel of 1.
Yeah.
It's more of like a
the more
dark,
originality with the ghosts
gothic
as well.
feel to it.
Mhm.
I mean, 2 is more colorful. I mean, 3 is more colorful.
Well, sure.
Well, just for the record, I think Luigi's Mansion 3 is easily a top 10 best looking Switch game, maybe top 5.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That
like,
art direction's incredible.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page there. I don't think anyone thinks Luigi's Mansion 2 looks as good as 3. Like, I think we're on the same page there. So
Fair.
I mean, that's why they're calling it just HD. They're not trying to pretend it's like
no,
a full
they're
remaster.
they're not trying to. I mean, they're still pricing it for $60, but
That's because they think it'll sell. Let's be honest. Prices are based on what they think it'll sell at, not what kind of lines up.
I will defend Luigi's Mansion 2, like just objectively speaking. Like this is not even an opinion. Like there is more done than just upscaling the 3DS version. Like there's new texture and geometry. They've put in work. Is it enough work? Well, I mean that we'll see.
I'm not as mad about the price or the graphics. I'm just upset that they took Dark Moon out of the title and called it 2. I know why they did that, so it doesn't sound like it's a new game,
Mhm.
compared to Luigi's Mansion 3.
Right, 'cause
Like they
3 only
have
has
to
the
make
number,
it
right?
clear.
Yeah.
So wait, you're saying that they have to make it clear that it's not they have to use a number to make it clear?
Thank God they didn't call it Luigi's
Whoa.
Mansion
No.
Attack.
Wait a second.
That's
You're
it.
saying Nintendo does know that numbers are the way to go?
Almost
Hold
like
on.
Xenoblade, Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 3,
What about
Bayonetta,
Xenoblade
Metroid
Chronicles X?
Prime.
Well, we'll see
Sorry,
about
I
Metroid
had to,
Prime.
I had to throw it out there.
Oh, you bastard.
Go ahead and make your point, Nick. I'm sorry.
I mean that all my point was I'm just mad they took Dark Moon out of the title because Luigi's Mansion 2 was it's in my top 5 games on 3DS. Like I love that
Sure.
game. And honestly, I'm more excited for Luigi's Mansion than I am Paper Mario. I know it's a good Paper Mario, but I'm probably not
The
going to get
best.
it. And
Hmm.
I'm going to save up and get Luigi's Mansion instead.
All right, listen, Nick.
I
I was willing to accept that you're not like super high on Prime 4, but now you tell me you're not even high on Thousand Year Door. Who even
No.
are you? I'm just kidding. You're good. You're good.
there's also the chance that the game, like we haven't seen a trailer for it in some time. It could look better when it comes out than it did when we saw that trailer, because
I guess it's the Nate show now.
Sorry.
yeah.
I didn't realize this was a shortcut up. I should have
Nate,
realized.
be
It was a
quiet. Go ahead.
but yeah, I mean that happens sometimes. They show early footage of games and it's like it's not done yet, you know.
Sure.
So it could be cleaned up. It could, when it comes to release, they could come out with another trailer, like a release day trailer, and it looks better than it did in that previous trailer. That's always a possibility. You know, it could be a Star Fox Zero sitch in that respect, and not in the controls respect. Just the
Yeah.
visuals respect, please.
I don't even think 2 looks bad though. Like it just doesn't look as good as 3, and I don't think it's going to look as good as 3. I don't really think it's possible.
It's possible.
I mean,
I think it's
not-
possible.
not by remastering it. I think you would have to have like
And yet,
imagined
Metroid Prime remastered though.
right, but we're not.
That was the
comparing-
remaster.
What are we comparing Metroid to?
But I'm just saying that game looks good, so you could make a remaster look like modern graphics. it's possible, is what I'm saying.
All right, I'll give you that.
I'm just,
It's not as much work as that. I agree.
it's
with
not
that. That
it's
makes
not
sense.
an
That's fair.
expectation, perhaps, but it's possible.
No, you're right. Yeah, but also
Okay.
Retro
Thank you.
Studios is importing it, so
This is true. It's not Retro
You're
Studio.
right.
Well, I mean, is it? We don't actually.
And
Do we even know who's doing it
Is
yet?
it Next Level, or do we know who's doing?
I
Luigi's
figured
Mansion
it might be. Well, I don't know if it's next.
It
level.
would be
They could've
hilarious
announced
if Retro Studios was porting Luigi's
my
Mansion
God.
2.
That would be like, we're gonna say it was not them. Oh, it is them. Oh,
that
well then.
That would be hilarious.
Well,
they
then.
wouldn't port it and make it look
Like,
the way
it's easy to think it's next level because they made the original and obviously made 3 and probably are working on 4 at this point based on.
I mean,
how
they're gonna get
popular
some credit
is,
for it
but-
because they created the original. They maybe they have a
Yeah.
little bit of an
But
overseeing
I can
role
see like
here,
maybe
but
they call this HD because they're working on it. You know, like they have an outside studio working on it. I will be
Yeah.
right back though. You guys keep going.
Fine.
Yeah. So what was the topic?
Games for the second half.
Second
Right, so
half
we're
of
talking about the
year.
first half.
Because like they
Well,
have a
half
first
and then
half
second half.
and then the second half. I don't know. I know this probably isn't like out of the ordinary, but I feel like Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2 are really close to each other. Like, it's
Yeah.
fine,
A little
but it
over a month.
also like I don't know. I thought they were going to be spaced out more. Like Luigi's Mansion might have been in July.
You know, I think it's you go first, Cap.
No, I was actually circling back to this comparison thing again because you were like, "What are we comparing it to?" But Thousand Year Door might be a better comparison of. It's possible. Thousand Year Door looks probably as good as.
Well, it's not a
Origami King.
remaster. I wouldn't. That's a remake. They've reimagined like the actual layout of the maps. Like if you look at,
Oh, so those are big sweeping. Like, there's actual changes.
there's changes. There's
okay.
changes. It's actually not
I
even the
stand
same art
corrected.
style anymore. Like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on Switch is actually like the environments are all made out of paper. That's not how
Mhm.
Paper Mario games used to be. Some of
Yeah.
it was made out of paper. It's just different.
Okay, no,
and
fair,
a good.
fair.
It's a good difference. It's like it's really good. But yeah,
It looks great. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
yeah, and they reimagined the visually. So
Yeah, so it's possible.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying.
yeah, yeah.
So-
I mean, it's funny though because we go back to Prime Remastered, right? And like visually, like they actually created new art for the entire game. Like they basically remade it visually, but they used it. But they used an updated version of the root engine, which is like the supposed engine for the original Metroid Prime. They just kind of like modernized it to Kingdom Come, and they're like, all right, they kind of built it with the original game at its core. So that's why I guess it's technically a remaster.
It still uses the same source code as far as I know, right? So,
yeah, you said it in a more simple terms. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, I totally deviated backwards from the topic though, so I'm gonna just.
Well, what I was gonna say, just because Nick, as you were kind of noting, like the games are very close to each other, which seems a little odd. Like, if it wasn't for the reports that Switch 2 is not coming out this year, I'd be like, yo, Switch 2 is definitely coming out this year. Because like they kind of like where we're at right now, we haven't gotten a big main Nintendo Direct, right? Like that we're obviously the pattern has been broken, right? Like we're in uncharted territory. The Nintendo has laid out the first half. The second half is completely vacant. Like it's feel like, like ignoring all the reports, it feels like Nintendo could be like, yo guys, guess what? Switch 2 is coming out this October. Get hyped. And then they just kind of, light a blazing path. We don't believe that's going to happen because of how many strong sources have come out and said it's not happening. But just like the way Nintendo sort of set up this year so far, that's how it feels. Now, of course, the reports also indicate that the plan was that, right, for like a holiday release, and then they had to change it recently. And so maybe that's why it feels that way, because they were carrying through part of that plan, but now what happens with the second part of that plan is going to be different.
Right. Like it's almost too late to adjust the dates of these games because they shifted the plan so late in the we're already it's already rolling. We can't change it, so we kind of gotta. And I was thinking about we genuinely don't have anything for the second half of the year.
Announced.
No DLC announced, no games, no
The only thing left is Prime 4. Literally, there's nothing else. You're right. So,
but kind of counterpoint is that we never do lately. Like the last few years, I feel like every 6 months we have this conversation of Nintendo has nothing for after this point, and it's just because that's how they do marketing now. Is they always market extremely hard short term. There are exceptions. Tears of the Kingdom is an exception, but for the most part, they announce something very close to launch, and then they market the hell out of it until shortly after launch, and they have these very short focused windows because that's what they found just works for them really nicely.
Yeah,
instead of these long drawn out marketing cycles that last several years.
Well, yeah, and they also don't want to compete with each other. They want to make sure every major release sells as many copies as possible.
True. Yeah. So I just feel like it's like a constant thing. People, and I'm not saying this is what you guys are doing, but I see people online panicking almost. They're like, oh my God, Nintendo doesn't have anything for 2023's first half. They don't have anything for 2023's second half. And it's like this sort of cycle of worry.
Dude, that's what I was saying the other week. And Nate was giving me shit for it.
Oh, well, he's not here to give us shit.
Yeah. This is literally exactly what I was saying. This is so validating. You've actually been literally saying exactly how I feel all podcast.
The Mario Day news, I think, was actually really good news for
sure.
2024 hopefuls because, Nick, as you pointed out, right, we have these both Luigi's Mansion 2 and Paper Mario coming out right next to each other. If Nintendo was in a position where they were like, oh, crap, we had to delay Switch 2, so what are we going to do about the second half of 2024? Some people are thinking Thousand Year Door is going to be made into a holiday game. No, it's coming out sooner than expected. It's coming out May. And so Nintendo, it doesn't look like Nintendo's spreading out what's already been announced. They just, I think they just have other things. And I mean, to your point, Cap, they're going to probably have a direct, I'm thinking April, and then all of a sudden that second half's going to be filled up.
Yeah.
It'll probably be filled up with more ports and remasters. I personally want to see what they're gonna do, if anything, with Zelda this year. You had Tears of the Kingdom last year. That's a big game, but you got no DLC for it, and most people who have bought and played it have finished it. So what's their next thing? I'm a Zelda fan. I've beat all the Zelda games on Switch already. So what's next for me? What are you gonna bring? Listen, listen.
Play it again.
What if their Zelda content for the year is Master Mode?
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine
Well,
with
actually, I would be pretty happy for a Master Mode.
that. I want Master Mode.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
also like, if Nintendo didn't drop another game, like I know it's not like they're not going to do that, but if they didn't drop anything after Luigi's Mansion, I'd be okay with that because it would give me time to catch up on all the games I have in my backlog that I haven't played. Like I have Super Mario RPG, haven't played it yet. I have Splatoon 3, haven't played it yet. Mario plus Rabbids, haven't played it yet. Like,
Dude, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is such a better RPG than Super Mario RPG.
I haven't played
Made the
either of
wrong
them,
choice.
so
You know, I haven't played. Yeah, same. So, but I just know that people in the chat are gonna be offended by that statement.
I don't think so.
Maybe
Anyone
not
that's
this chat,
actually
but there
played
are
both
people on the
games-
internet who will be.
Anyone
upset.
that's actually played both games will not be offended by that.
Fair.
Super
You
Mario
know,
RPG is a baby's RPG that you can play.
I could have told you that, and I've never played it. Like,
Yeah,
but it has
Thousand
a
Year
big ocean.
Door is way better. Say it's accurate. Thank you.
Yeah. But
No,
also,
fair.
people can have opinions, and it's fine.
It's allowed for sure.
we need
Yeah.
more 3DS ports. That does seem to be the route we're going now.
Well, on that note, I would like. It's not really a 3DS port, but like just the idea of like people wanted Ocarina of Time 3D ported or Majora's Mask 3D ported or A Link Between Worlds remastered. I don't think those are happening, but in terms of like a Zelda game, right? Like, I think I'm on the train of thought that there is probably going to be a Zelda release this year because typically there's at least one kind of significant Zelda release per year. Sometimes it's a spin-off like Hyrule Warriors. Sometimes it's a remaster like Skyward Sword.
Unless you're
Or a remake.
2022.
Unless you're
True.
2022, where Tears of the Kingdom was planned for that year and then was delayed to early next year, which is
Mhm.
just what a 6-month delay. So no
Yeah.
real biggie. I think that's the exception, but in general, we have a Zelda release per year, right? And so I think it's not a bad prediction to say that we're getting something Zelda this year. So the question is what in my mind, and I have two ideas. Given that it's 2024 and supposedly Switch 2 starts next year, if we're going to ever get like those Zelda remasters, the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, like it's this year. Like, and I personally have been kind of thinking like it's just a Zelda collection because they've already been remastered for Wii U. That's one option. But the other option that's perhaps more interesting to me is they do what they did last year, in the sense that there was already this conversation that after Tears of the Kingdom would be no other major games. And there is a sense that because it had been so many years, Nintendo would never do this, go back to this franchise again, but they did, and it was Mario Wonder. Except this time around, the conversation is Nintendo's delaying all their big games until 2025, and we haven't gotten a follow-up to this particular series in a long time, and that's 2D Zelda. I think Nintendo could easily have had Grezzel been working on a 2D Zelda over this time, and maybe it's ready for release this year. I think it's a really good game. One, I think it would probably garner a solid audience, comparable to Mario Wonder, maybe not as much, but still pretty good for the holidays. And it would be the kind of game that Nintendo could announce Switch 2, and people won't be like, "Oh man, I really wish I really want to wait and play this in 4K."
Yeah,
no,
that's
because it's
true.
2D Zelda.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna be happy
Anything
with
2D,
playing at 1080.
there's no reason to want that on the Switch too.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you,
so
you
it
might
could, like,
want it,
late
but it's
life cycle release.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
That
it would
makes
be
sense.
hype. I think the Zelda fans would be really happy about it, and
Mm-hmm.
it would be a strong seller.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
happy about it. So,
I think that would be sick.
I think it could actually help the sales of that game, knowing that it's like the swan song first
Yeah.
party Switch title.
Because we also didn't get. Correct me if I'm wrong. We did not get a brand new 2D Zelda game on the Switch at all.
Nope.
Correct.
Like, yes, there was Link's Awakening, but that was a remake
a remake.
of an
Yeah.
old game. There was Cadence of Hyrule, but that was like a spin-off. So I
It's
don't
an
really.
indie
wasn't-
thing.
yeah.
It's not
Count
even. It's
that.
not Zelda though. It's like it's a
It's
rhythm
Crypt
action.
of the
thing.
Necrodancer featuring the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
That's like in the title.
So it
it's
would be a
cool.
great way. You
It's
could
cool, but-
start Switch with a Zelda, end Switch with a Zelda.
Yeah.
That would work out great.
Zelda sandwich.
Yep.
With a
Oh,
lot
that's
of
the best kind of
Mario,
sandwich.
Metroid, Kirby jelly.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of sandwich.
Here's
Yeah.
another thing that might
What's the peanut
influence
butter?
like the games
Mario.
or the second half of the year.
Sure.
Do we think Switch 2 is getting announced this year? Like
Yeah.
in October, they're gonna be like, "Hey, we got this thing coming out next year."
I mean, people think it's getting announced sooner. So
If it comes, I could see it happening like a holiday release, and it's announced in like September.
we're talking about
and-
Switch 2?
Yeah, I could, or maybe
You think
it's
it'd
September,
be-
October. The September at the
Bro,
earliest.
They're not releasing a new console on a holiday after what's happened the last 4 years with that.
That's fair. So they announce it next January or February.
Yeah, and then it comes out
and-
like March.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what we said was gonna happen this year.
Well, yeah, and it was
Not me.
Right?
It was
Not what I
supposed
said was
to.
gonna happen.
Right.
So I think this goes. I think this goes back to what I was saying, though, right? I think you can announce the console this year, make it clear, but the games that you have that come in between are very choice. You have a 2D Zelda, right? You have a Wind Waker, or not those, because but like remasters, like the kind of games that you wouldn't want to wait for Switch 2 on. You do price drops, so you reach out to the people that aren't going to be early adopters to Switch 2 anyway, and that's how you do it. And so I think there is an avenue where they do announce Switch 2 this year. It comes out early next year, but what it does, it does impact the kind of content Nintendo puts out for this year. But I think it's the kind of content that they need to do to close out the generation. Put out the Nintendo Select line, price drop the console, phase out some revisions, maybe introduce another cheaper revision. Maybe that's what Switch Attach is. Who knows? And put out things like 2D Zelda and maybe those rumored black and white remakes. And then all of a sudden you have a pretty decent kind of lineup for the year in terms of like sales potential. And we're still going to be primed and ready for Switch 2 early next year.
Primed and ready because we're on. Never mind.
Yeah,
But
and
also,
Metroid Prime 4 is the launch title. I'm crazy, but here it is.
also, I think Pokemon remakes that X and Y is likely if they're doing this new Pokemon Legends game. I'm just saying. I just pulled that
Yeah.
out of my ass, but still.
It does make sense. The reason why I suggested black and white, though, is because two reasons. One, the Riddler has been kind of hinting at black and white something for a long time, and now everyone thinks he's fake because it wasn't in the presents. But what's interesting,
Right.
the Pioro, a leaker that everyone does believe, did say he had heard a while ago that there was going to be an outsourced Generation 5 game. He said that he wasn't saying it was going to be in the presents, so he said take it with a grain of salt, and it wasn't there. So to me,
And then he backtracked on it though after that.
no, he never
Even though
backtracked
he
on
didn't
it.
say that. Yeah, he did.
No, Pioro didn't backtrack on it. Oh, I mean, I
Yes, he
guess he
did.
deleted. He deleted a
He
tweet, right?
apologized. Yeah.
But
I think-
wasn't that because it wasn't in the presents, or was it
Right.
because the information was false?
He said he literally was like, "Sorry, this isn't from one of my actual sources that I know." Like,
I didn't see that.
It was just something I had heard, but I don't believe it now, and so I apologize, and I'm deleting it.
Okay.
I think it's worth looking into. I don't remember him saying that.
But what does Eric think? That's what I
don't
want to know.
know. I don't know what to think. I mean, I think
Just wanna
Nintendo's got games that they're sitting on. We all know. We all have
That's
that
true.
feeling, and
Nintendo Switch has games.
we're probably gonna have a dumping of those at the end of this year just because we need fillers. So this was the perfect time, and they were waiting for something like this to happen, or not necessarily waiting, but having a plan for if something like this did happen. Where they could just dump games where they had a space where they had to fill. So I think that's probably what we're gonna get is just a bunch of games that Nintendo's been sitting on that we've possibly heard rumors on, and
Maybe 2D Zelda. They've been sitting on that for a
maybe.
while.
I mean, yeah,
Supposedly,
it's-
Princess Peach Showtime's been done for a long time too. Like, I think
Mhm.
Nintendo. What's kind of wild about these rumors suggesting that, like, one of the reasons supposedly why Switch 2 was delayed is because they needed to get the lineup ready. But Nintendo's been sitting on just so many games. Like, it's hard for me to believe that.
But if they're games like Princess Peach Showtime, are they games you launch a console with?
Right. Like,
And-
are
and
they
so
the big
They need their
games?
Breath of the Wilds to launch the consoles,
Yeah.
the Mario Odysseys,
And I do understand that, right? I just think it's an interesting distinction to make, though, right? Because it's
Mhm.
not so much that they don't have games ready, it's what kind of games do they have ready? Like, I think it's actually exciting because what it implies is that 2025 is going to be, a 2017 like year, like actually. Like, we've kind of I feel like throughout the entire Switch generation, we've been kind of thinking, oh, is this the year where we have something that compares to 2017? And there's always been pretty solid years, and it's up for debate. But in terms of straight Nintendo putting out their own like internally developed games that kind of match that output from 2017. What we're hearing now indicates that that's what 2025 is actually going to be.
Yeah, and I believe that because they learned their Wii U lessons. You have to you got to launch your console with that strong lineup because the game box is just the box you play games on, and the games are what matters. And that's what's gonna. If you don't have a strong software lineup, you're not gonna move units. That's just the simplest way to put it.
It's like the most important ingredient.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
have the games for
Yeah.
sure. By the way, Jake, I looked up Puro's tweets, right? And so
He
I
deleted
never.
the ones where he apologized, but he did.
Okay, well then that's
Someone in the
his
The
chat
only ones he left up were the
maybe
ones
say it.
after he apologized, saying, "Should I delete my account since I promised I would?" And
Right.
then, but he deleted the ones saying he would, but he left up the poll of "Should I delete my account?"
Yeah, he only has 2 tweets relating to the poll, and then him saying, "Okay, I won't delete my account." And all I saw
but he deleted
was
the initial tweet saying he would delete his account.
interesting.
And
Yeah.
but also, if you look in his replies, one other thing he did leave up was Centro Leaks reporting on his Pokemon one, and then him saying, "I wouldn't actually trust it, and I'll take the L if it's wrong."
Yeah. So, and I remember that,
Yeah.
Let me speak on that, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, right? I'm not trying to say that Pioro thought that it was going to be at the Presents, right? I take what he said at face value. He said a while ago he heard that there is going to be an outsourced Generation 5 title. Now, when you take that at face value, what you got to understand is if you hear about something a while ago, it is subject to change, right? And so maybe there was conversations about it being a Generation 5 out. Maybe they changed it to X and Y afterwards because maybe they did pivot the next Legend games to be Legend ZA. That's possible. And because he heard it a while ago, he just brought it up because it made sense that it might show up in the Presents. But because he wasn't certain on it, like he is with most of these leaks, he told us to take it with a grain of salt. It may not happen here, right? And then, of course, it wasn't. So I'm just simply stating that if Pioro heard this, right, and this lines up with what the Riddler's been kind of hinting at for a long time, and the Riddler has had a long history of getting things right. Granted, a lot of his things are very Riddle-like. He's kind of a troll, and maybe there's some room for, how legit is he, right? Maybe that's been called into question now. But my point is simply that we have 2 places that have indicated something Generation 5 is at least in the conversation at one point.
All right. So here's the thing. Everything you said is true and valid. And if that was a real thing that he heard, that's exactly, it can change at any time.
Right.
The problem is, it is such an easy fallback and cover story for any time you're wrong about everything. And I understand the track record comes you start taking that into account. But the thing with a lot of these leakers, and some I won't name, is I think they start out, they do have legitimate sources. But not for all of Nintendo. And I don't think there's any Nintendo employee that knows everything for every franchise. I think it's depending where you're working.
Yeah, I hate
so
it when
they
people
get
act like they know everything.
real leaks,
bullshit.
And then they get popularity, and then they get pressure to try to come up with more stuff. And when their sources don't have anything, but their sources are like, "Oh, well, I heard maybe like someone that works in this department was talking about this, but I don't really know." And then they start taking more like liberties, and then using exactly what you just said of being like, because a lot of time it is real that Nintendo changed things. That's a very real thing. But then they'll just start using that for everything. And then they get further and further apart. And then they just start like basically guessing at everything. And I think we both know accounts that kind of lines up. Like they got like a lot of stuff right. And then they started getting a little more inaccurate. And then all of a sudden, like we don't trust them at all.
Sure,
and
like Zippo.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like it's fair to like treat every account like that, like Pioro, but I'm just saying the same way you got to give them the benefit of the doubt that it was just changed. You also have to take into account the possibility that they're starting to kind of feel the pressure and just want to post things to stay relevant. And like instead of making a judgment either way, you just have to judge on was it true or was it not true.
So,
and the most recent thing was not true.
Sure. Well, the most recent thing actually was true because Pioro leaked all the stuff about the Mario Day Direct. So there's that. and so I think it's another distinction needs to be made here. We're talking about Pioro, right? Like we're just talking about Pioro.
Well, no, I said that the track record is
right.
like
So
that
the
was
thing
the
about-
only thing.
But what needs to be understood is that when Pioro talked about the Pokemon Black and White, it wasn't even technically even see Black and White. He just said Generation 5 related outsource project, right? He didn't state that as a leak. It was not stated as a leak. He when he presented the information, when he was already doubtful of it happening from the get-go. Everything else he posts about, he doesn't post about with doubt. So he's I would say like he was just being transparent. It's like, hey, I heard this. I'm not sure if it's actually happening or not. And so, I don't think this is a scenario where Pioro is trying to maintain popularity. I think he just legitimately has, I don't know how he's getting the information, but he has the information on the leaks. And the one thing that was wrong, he said it might be wrong. He didn't say the other things would be wrong, and they haven't been. So I just think it's just
and so I don't think he has any Pokemon information that's actually concrete. I think he has a source at Nintendo that leaks him exact things.
Sure.
And I think that Pokemon's a separate thing. I don't think he's ever known anything. And that's why he was so hesitant about it. And it's not fair for him to be like, I kind of heard this. And like, I'll tell you, this might not be true because it's like not from my true sources. Like, that's not one of your sources. You shouldn't be saying that at all, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't agree because he was just very transparent. Like I think a lot of
he wasn't very transparent though. He wasn't like, this is from not a direct source. This is complete hearsay. He wasn't completely clear on that. He was just like, it's something I heard a while ago, still implying it could be like from someone from Nintendo directly. Like, but it's definitely not his like source that gives him the actual information. So I don't think it was a completely transparent, but I will say Pioro is definitely, I'm not like trying to rag on him. He's definitely like top tier in terms of, what's the word? Integrity.
All right, so I have the actual quote, right? Because I did save this stuff because I covered it, right? He said there's 2 tweets related to it. All right, so the first tweet was, I don't know anything about the Pokemon Presents.
Okay.
While I heard of an outsourced Unova related game, the info was from last year, so it may turn out to be inaccurate. And he followed it up by saying, this is not a leak and should be taken with a grain of salt. I'm just sharing something I'm aware of.
Okay. That's better than what I thought. I am being a little nitpicky, but I do think he like should have said it's not from my main source where I leak everything. It's not from that source.
I mean, he said it's not a leak. But
he didn't say it's not from that source.
All right. So let me just tell you what I think. Right.
Again, I know I'm being nitpicky.
Right.
Like,
so
I know I am.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what I think. Right. I think a lot of people, right, are very. The people look at it. Everyone looks at these things in different ways and treats them in a different way. Right. When I see someone like Pioro who has. And we're not talking about he got like 2 or things right. He's like, and they were like kind of right. No, this person has, over the last year and a half has leaked, like literally leaked entire significant parts of every presentation. Like for the partner showcase, he leaked like 12 games, and there's a certain specificity to that. There isn't any vagueness to it. So for me, it's not really left up for debate that he doesn't have this information, and it's been very, very strong.
Yeah, I never said that.
Right.
I said he has a source that tells
and I'm not saying you did. I'm just explaining how I understand this, right? And so the way I sort of look at this, right? This person has information, and when they talk about this information, is done in a particular way. And the moment this person talks about something they don't have certainty with, they say they don't have certainty with it. And so the moment they said they don't have certainty with it, I knew to not like fully buy into it because that's what they said. But everything else, they don't say that.
But here's the thing. I've seen leakers exactly like Pioro, and it's a slippery slope, man. They'll do that one time, and then they'll do it again, and then they'll be more and more vague about it, and like they'll be cryptic about it to cover. It's not to be cryptic; it's to cover their asses in case.
So let me also explain why I'm being defensive for this person, right? Because I mean, you know, I've occasionally heard some little things here and there, not nearly to the degree of reliability of Pioro. Like, I don't not going to pretend to be a leaker, right? I'm a YouTuber, and sometimes people send me things, and I'll see some of them have good track records, some of them don't. That's it, right? But as someone who's very small, right, and then sometimes says
Oh,
something.
dude, don't worry. Not all guys are packing.
That's not what I was talking about.
Okay.
As someone who has a smaller viewership than a lot of bigger YouTubers and journalists, right? I hear some things very, very, very occasionally, very, very vague, right? And most of the time, I just put all my own theories and research and kind of compile that and talk about the other people, and I get flack when they're wrong. But I see these people like Jeff Grubb, Nate the Hate, and I think they 100% have connections. And the way I've come to understand it, and from what people have told me who are who have worked like literally with Nintendo, right, and then other places, changes happen all the time. So while you could say, "Oh, it's a good fallback," it's also literally the truth.
No, and that's why it's such a good fallback, because it is the truth, and I said that very clearly.
And so, but that's why I think word choice is and like attention to detail is important, right? So when we look at Pioro,
he did do a pretty good job with his word choice. I had like a little nitpick with it, but overall he did a good job. He also took accountability, which was great, and also he gets more credit too because he's not someone whose livelihood relies on it. He's not like a journalist or like a YouTuber himself, you know. And if he was, and we just don't know it, like,
I mean, I assume it's an alias.
He can make videos on anyone's rumors. He doesn't need to make up his own. You know what? Like, he's doing it like in the best way you possibly could, and the most credible way you possibly could. I just didn't like it because, like, I know you said he wasn't trying to like maintain relevance or whatever, but like when you have his track record and you say anything Pokemon like 2 days before Pokemon presents, it's gonna like take off like that. And I think he knew he had no idea if it was true or not, but he just wanted to say the thing that he heard.
This is how I interpret it. I think he was just trying to be a bro. He was like, "Yo, guys, I heard about this thing. Just letting you know." Like that's how I took it. I don't think there's any malintent.
He very well may have been. It's kind of just up to us to kind of decide, and I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I think it could have been either way.
Yeah.
And again, I don't fully believe like the opposing viewpoint I'm presenting here too, because I do believe what you just said is possible.
You're more than welcome to play devil's advocate and present a different
I'm always
opinion.
considering both sides.
Fair.
I'm like skeptical.
Yeah. I like what
Tasha honestly, he's the top of my list.
Pure bro. Bro.
Dude, I kind of hate the insider thing so much, but like he's probably at the top.
I mean, if Pioro says it, it's kind of like we're already on.
If he says anything means like just main regular Nintendo, I believe him. But I do think Pokemon.
If he says anything without if he says anything without any sort of like clarification of like to be cautious of it, I have no reason to disbelieve.
Honestly, you know what? Yeah, that's a good point, Andres. You're right.
Yeah, but the reason I brought up Pioro to begin with, though, is just because I think this person has shown to be trustworthy. Right, out of any insider leak or whatever out there, they're the most trustworthy. And so,
you know what? Honestly, at the end of this, dude, you're kind of like winning me over to kind of agree with you. So I'm glad we talked about it.
Right?
It's like honestly, and it's hopefully like shown the chat like how credible he is too. So I'm glad we had the conversation.
Yeah, but I only want to go back to the Pioro thing because I brought it up.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know if there's going to be a black and white remake and X and Y remake, right? We're speculating, right? But if we have both the Reddit and Pioro who heard something, and again, it's not a leak, right? I mean, it's not being treated as a leak. We're treating it as a rumor. He literally heard something. That's literally the textbook, Webster's, Oxford's definition of what a rumor is. You heard something from somebody, right? And so the rumor is there was going to be some type of like black and white outsourced project. And recently we've heard that they've actually set up some sort of like dedicated Pokemon department at ILCA, the makers of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think we've seen the last, outsourced remake. So there could be another, and maybe we don't see it this year, but it will point out, excluding Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, a lot of Pokemon remakes have been announced closer towards the summer. So, and we do usually tend to get 2 Pokemon presents in a year.
Yeah.
So we
Well-
could get another one, and they could announce something for this holiday.
Well, with the Legends ZA, obviously Legends Arceus line, it made sense for Gen 4 remake. So I understand how it makes sense to have, rumors about X and Y remakes. But honestly, those are 3D games, and Ilka's only remade 2D games in the chibi art style. So I still, and again, we never heard anything about X and Y remakes. So I still think it makes more sense for Black and White to be like the next remakes.
Maybe, yeah. I honestly, I kind of like, I hope that if they were to remake Black and White, they kind of copy Square Enix and do the HD 2D style, because that would work so well for Black and White.
I really hope that we get like Black and White 3. And like,
That'd be crazy.
well, with Legends ZA, right? Like, it's kind of like we were finally getting Pokemon Z in a way. So to like, they're already kind of doing it a little bit. So like to have like a Black and White 3 would be kind of cool, and then they could sell their 2 versions too. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, outside of, Pokemon and Zelda, like, what else could we see?
Mario Kart 9.
You mean 11?
Maybe 12.
Mario Kart X, actually. Mario Kart X. They
Mario
skip the
Kart
dude, the
X,
iPhone. Skip 8.
And
Skip
they're
9.
doing a
X.
partnership with Twitter, actually. So it's going to be
I
like
like
go.
that in this joke about Twitter being called X.
the-
You still
the
called it Twitter.
Twitter
Yeah.
X. Nobody calls it Twitter. That's like my
No,
sign.
everyone
like,
calls it
you're a
Twitter.
Yeah,
faker
what are you
if
talking about?
call it
I
X.
call it Twitter.
I think he
It's
meant X. Yeah.
Yeah, no one calls it
X.
X. Everyone calls it Twitter.
Oh, Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was so fucking
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
I was
Took me a
like,
second.
Maybe this is the year we finally get Link's crossbow training ported to Switch.
Instead of
Crossbow
2D Zelda,
training.
instead of
And
Zelda
then we
Collection.
get a Switch attachment to
Mhm.
ease us into Switch attach next year, and it's
Mhm.
the crossbow for the Joy-Cons.
Ah.
It's actually just a repurposed Ring Fit band.
Yeah, you just gotta. It
have to
becomes a workout.
That's kind of
Perfect.
fun.
dude, I hope they make an attachment for all the hentai games. It's kind of like that band, just a little.
Oh god.
Yeah, this is going a good direction. Where is Nate?
Yes.
The
He's-
ninjas got him. The
he's
Nintendo
placing-
ninjas.
Don't tell me you've never sat on a Joy-Con.
No,
All right.
I
Yeah,
take
me
good
either.
care of my hardware. I have
Oh,
never
Lord.
sat
And the Joy Cons are definitely not sticking up. So that's weird.
I've never.
Oof.
I take care of my Joy-Cons, man.
Yeah.
Like
I'll
Yep.
tell you that HD Rumble's something else.
And
I
on
You
that
take
note,
advantage of
genuinely-
the IR sensor.
Mm.
I
he's taking
genuinely
advantage of the IR
don't-
sensor for sure.
I don't know what else Nintendo could put out this year. Like aside
Donkey
from
Kong.
like a Zelda game or a Donkey Kong, like
So all right. I mean, can we get a show of hands? Like, who thinks Prime 4 is coming out this? Because there's a rumor that Prime 4 is coming out this year, but I feel like we should just expect delays now, because that apparently is all that happens. So like, I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think any of us know.
Because
what
if
to
Prime
expect
4 is
right now.
coming
It's so
out this year,
freaking
it makes
weird.
it kind of changes things a little bit. Like that's
I feel like
it-
anything's like Prime could come out this year or it could come out next year. Either one would not surprise me.
right. I'm on the same page. You know what's something that could happen? Mario Party. We're kind of overdue.
a new one again.
But Mario Party
We've already
coming
had
out at the end
2
of a
on Switch.
generation?
Yeah,
Like, I have a
but
third one.
it's
mean,
the
what's-
third one, and it's only.
I
been
think that
3
makes more
years.
sense to be a Switch 2 just because I hope it has improved online and take advantage of like Switch 2 online and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe they do a little like, not a full like DLC wave for Superstars, but do like a free update to try and push some more sales of that, and then do a new one
Yeah,
next year.
But does a
'Cause-
free update really warrant? I mean,
But they did
What-
that in 2021. Is they added online?
sure.
Super
but
Mario
it
Party-
wasn't like the bigger release for
But that
the
was like a
month from
test
Nintendo,
for
though.
Superstars, I feel like.
That's true.
They still need to release something. Like the free
Yeah.
update is not gonna
Right,
give
like
them
that's
money.
not your system seller.
It's not your software seller. Like it's just it's a free update. Like, thanks, Nintendo.
there's something big that we're all missing.
What?
Is it?
I don't know. I was like,
mean, I don't know. It might be 2D Zelda. Or, you know what? It doesn't even have to be 2D Zelda. Like, Nintendo probably would sell a lot if they just packaged Wind Waker and Twilight Princess together in one $60.
but you know they wouldn't pack them together. They'd sell them
They won't.
individually for $60.
I don't. I
will.
actually don't know that. I must be stupid.
I
know
don't
that.
think they would.
They want your
they
money.
Have not done that on Switch.
You want me to make
any
my-
of
you
the
want me-
remasters?
Do you want me to make the argument for the collection?
Well, dude, here's the thing with Mario Superstars or whatever it was.
yeah,
3D
There was
All-Stars?
a
Superstars
GameCube
3.
Mario and a Wii Mario and an N64 Mario for $60. So just a GameCube Zelda and a Wii Zelda, I could see.
But those were
That's
really
two
low
GameCube Zeldas,
quality.
actually.
Like those were
Two-
essentially
Why do I
ripped
have to?
Yeah.
to
Well, one was a cross like
Just
long,
enjoy
but
it.
yeah.
whereas like
Am I
Twilight
going crazy?
Princess and
No,
Wind
are you on
Waker.
Mac, Cap?
Am I sorry?
Are you on a
You're
Mac?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Does
why.
mine do it?
Max
What
Max StreamYards with
Do
Mac.
a peace sign.
They have different gestures.
Maybe
Streaming Mac.
thumbs up.
Mine
don't know.
is
What do I
not on,
do?
I guess.
PC
I don't know what
Master
I did
Race. Baby.
something.
We don't enjoy these things.
Oh look, Nate's just did it. Maybe you have to hold it for a second.
No, I just think. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's the peace sign. It did it. Why did yours only do it one time?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it was a glitch.
I thought I was losing my mind.
But yeah, as I was saying, like I see the
No,
argument.
that wasn't Nate. That was Eric doing it to Nate's camera. You guys.
Yes.
Yeah, they're right next to each other, but it's confusing.
Eric,
I
reach
see
your
the
hand. Reach your
argument-
hand over.
I can
See?
I can make it. Yeah, I can try. All right, so first off, if you look at it as a brand new remaster, there's no way in hell they release both together. I agree. But the thing is, they already remastered them on Wii U. They've already released twice. I don't think they're releasing
Yeah.
a third time for the same price.
I
don't.
know.
Also, there's a history of Zelda collections.
I don't
So-
know. There
You
is
don't
a
know.
history of
None
Zelda
of us know.
collections, but I don't know. I feel like there's too much money to be made putting them separately because there are people who
Okay.
would only buy one and not the other, and
The
would not buy
argument in
them
favor
together.
of what you're saying, Nick, is that they just released Luigi's Mansion. They're releasing Luigi's Mansion 2 for $60.
But
This
it's
is a
also
3DS.
it's a new remaster.
It's a new remaster.
It's a new version of the game that has not existed before.
Yeah.
But
We're
it's
ta-
Luigi's Mansion.
Well-
How to treat Zelda different than
They
other
they
series.
do.
Well,
They just
I
do.
Mean, I mean, Luigi's Mansion actually
You
is a
could
bigger
say
seller than
that
3D
like
Zelda
Wind
outside of
Waker
Breath of the Wild
HD on the
2
Wii
Kingdom.
U would be the port, and that was like a $50 game, and the same thing with Twilight Princess. And if they enhance those a little bit,
But they're not going to be enhanced. They've
I
already
it might be a
been
little.
enhanced.
Oh, they
it's
will.
Zelda.
They're
I
going
think
to add
Zelda.
more amiibo functionality.
I
I think they're
also
going to strip down features. Actually, they're
don't.
going to take out Miiverse support. Obviously, no more Tingle bottles, and they're just going to make. There's not going to be any touchscreen.
Tingle amiibo
things.
bundled in.
I don't think these two games are coming out at the same time. That's why I don't think they're coming in a double pack. I think it's going to be one, and then they're going to
Maybe.
wait a little bit, and then they're going to do the other one. They're
Yeah,
not
and then
gonna,
maybe
like-
they'll just release them at 50 each.
Because I mean, they could like just do a little. Oh, it's $50. Like,
Same price.
why was
Yeah.
Skyward Sword 60 and these?
Well,
are
I mean, look what
50?
they did with Donkey
It don't
Kong
matter.
Tropical Freeze,
Well,
and that had just come out a couple
Skyward
years
Sword was a new remaster.
Skyward Sword had a lot more. Like
That
had
is
I
more-
know.
also
Look,
true.
look
Like,
at
they
Tropical
really
Freeze, dude. They made it
reworked them.
$10 more and didn't do anything except
Yeah,
add
Tropical
Donkey
they
Kong.
they did nothing except they changed the idle animation instead of pulling out a 3DS. He pulled
Yeah,
out a
and they
Switch.
charge more. And that's Donkey Kong. This is Zelda, bro.
All
Exactly.
right, so
fucking
I'd like
Zelda,
to point
bro.
something else out, right?
Yeah.
Because these games have already had multiple releases, just putting it out again as is without any sort of like significant change to kind of brand it, I just don't see Nintendo doing that. But can I see them doing a Zelda collection? 100%. Like, I think there needs to be a hook. And also,
Yep.
I think a Zelda collection is
$120 for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess collection.
And you know what's the worst part of that is that I will buy
Buy
it.
it. I would buy it.
Yeah,
in a
see?
heartbeat.
I will buy it. It's-
My
Hey,
biggest thing.
You want me to concede? I'll concede this Zelda collection for $70, but the games are 60 FPS.
And
No,
we-
they would make they would
And they
want
sell
that
them for
one.
$40 each on the eShop.
See,
But you
okay,
save $10 by buying buying the collection.
call
I
me
hope.
picky.
I mean, it's possible.
I don't want a collection because I I want the 2 games to be separate. Like I want to have a case and a cartridge for each one because I'm just that particular. Like I'm that picky.
I hear
Whether
ya.
like
But
if they drop them both, that'd be
imagine a
great.
nicely catered new box art for a combo collection where they maybe they release some unofficial, it's official, but it's unreleased official art for Wind Waker, Twilight Princess combined, and so it's a new box art that you've never seen before.
But they're still on the same
If-
cartridge.
I think if they bundle them, it will just be the GameCube versions up-resed Pikmin 1+2 style. And if they sell them separate, it'll be the Wii U HD versions. That's fully what I think.
Yeah,
Those are
I was
the
gonna say
options.
I could see the argument for a collection if it's the original versions of the game, not
Yeah.
the HD
But
Wii
people
U
wouldn't want
$60
that. They're going to
port.
do the Wii U ones, and they're going to charge them individually.
Yeah. 60
We'll
bucks
see.
a pop.
We'll see. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying we don't know.
$60 a pop. I honestly don't know what we're talking about.
Zelda games.
We're talking about-
we
we're
use
talking
Zelda
about this.
Sports.
Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles X? Not that
think
that's the
the sta-
system
I-
seller,
so-
but
So for me, I think they're going to
Copium.
do a definitive edition for Xenoblade Chronicles X. But if you're doing a definitive edition, there's no way that would be a definitive edition on the Switch. It would have to wait for Switch 2.
Andres, Dr. Martin had a good chat right now. We
Yeah.
haven't talked about this in a while. Do you think they're going to do Switch Selects ever? Like Nintendo Selects?
Yes.
It feels like we're headed in that
Love that.
direction.
Is that going to
I-
that would have to be this year, right?
I
like-
feel like they weren't going to do it as Switch 2 was coming out this year, but because it's not, I think it's a holiday plan. All those games
Yeah,
they
it's gotta be
delisted and
second
pulled the
half.
physical versions of,
Yeah.
and they'll bring back as selects. Because they pull a lot, dude. They pulled, you can't get Fire Emblem Engage brand new anymore. They pulled it.
It makes
Can't get
sense.
a
Yeah,
physical
they're pulling games. It's because Selects versions are coming, probably.
Nintendo Selects actually would go pretty crazy, especially if Switch 2 is backwards compatible and you
Nintendo
can get all
erect.
those great games for really cheap, especially if they do it after
It's announced.
and
we
it's
know about
announced
the
Switch 2,
enhanced
and
backwards
you
compatibility.
and
Yeah.
you're like, I can go get Breath of the Wild for $40.
It's like getting Switch 2 pre-sales, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you'll buy it to play on your current Switch knowing you can take it forward.
Yeah, but then they'll still be there when Switch 2 comes out, so new
Yep.
adopters can have extra games at launch too.
Right.
Yeah. It's a cool idea. I
Maybe
kinda
that's
like
what
it.
they fill their
It's kind of like
Holiday
a Coin
with.
Star machine.
I
Makes a lot of
still
sense.
I still think they need to actually have new releases. And when I say new, I don't mean a brand new original game, but there needs to be some type of title that Nintendo is publishing almost every month for the second half. Doesn't have to be every month. Like it looks like they're skipping April, even though there might be a shadow drop. But I think there's gotta be 4 or 5 more games that are releasing the second half of the year. What maybe here's one. F-Zero, the rumored F-Zero GX remaster. If that's real, this might be a good time to do it because if we do expect Mario Kart next year and Nintendo wants to put out another racer, maybe now is the best time to do that before Mario Kart, steals the spotlight for forever.
because
Well, they're
as
not
we
going to put
know,
out an original new F-Zero, so yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
That would make sense too, with F-Zero 99 kind of being like a let's test, like, are people interested in F-Zero at all kind of thing, or even if someone's never heard of F-Zero aside from Falcon Punch,
Whoa,
do we want to test the
Captain,
waters and see
Captain.
if people have, or
Dude,
make them hear
what did
about it?
Zero ever do to you?
No, I'm nothing to me. I'm just saying,
Stop saying
there are-
F-Zero.
the point
Who the
is
fuck is Zero? Sorry.
From
the
Sonic?
guy from Mega Man. I hate him.
Mega Man, yeah.
Why
Oh,
does a
yeah,
robot
that's
need a ponytail? It doesn't make any sense. Anyways,
Sometimes we just need a little personality.
but F-Zero 99 could be like oh, this game dropped and there are probably people who are close to adulthood who were born
Right.
since like after the last
GX,
F-Zero game
right?
released. So it's a good way to introduce people hey, F-Zero is a franchise that exists. Captain Falcon is not just from Smash. And
he was in a lot of Smash trailers too. Like I think
Yeah.
these things are by design to an extent.
right.
I mean, you look at I always bring up Pikmin when I talk about this because you look at all the different things they did for Pikmin before Pikmin 4. I think there is a little bit of a roadmap.
They know
So
what they're doing.
yeah, maybe
You know what
we
makes
get the
sense?
GX Master.
You know that? I forget which Epic Mickey it is, but one of them, how it brings back like the Oswald the Rabbit.
That's the
Right.
second
So
one.
it was like Disney's forgotten thing. What if like Nintendo made a game with one of their franchises that's in Smash that's like forgotten, and it was like that kind of thing?
So F-Zero.
Well, I mean, so this happened before.
No, like the plot
this
of the game was that they were a forgotten franchise.
Oh,
Maybe
Oh.
that's what the next
Oh,
Mario game is. Is Mario, because that's what the Epic Mickey game is. It's the current main mascot going to this old forgotten place and finding
Right?
all the
Yeah, that's
forgotten
what I'm
things.
saying. Like
Right.
that, but with like Nintendo. Yeah,
well,
with
I
one
don't
of
know
their
about plot,
franchises, like
but they.
like I don't know, like Kid Icarus or just like something that like is just like been gone for so
Oh.
long.
Well, I mean,
That's what I mean.
excluding plot stuff, like it did happen for Kid Icarus. Like Pit was brought to Brawl. People were like, "Who is this?" Right? It came out
True.
on then the original game came out on Virtual Console for Wii. You're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." And then eventually
And dude,
that led
anything
to
that's in Smash
on
is legit possibility.
uprising.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
like Fire Emblem was not really it was like a dying franchise that was exclusive to Japan until they were in Smash.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, don't underestimate the power of Smash.
Yeah.
On the note of
And if
Fire
you-
Emblem,
if you-
that
so
is
there's
another
such
Fire
the
Emblem
Smash
game
like
I've
fan base will play games with characters that are just in Smash.
So,
So
I'm
if you do a game with a character that hasn't had a game that's in Smash, but it's a similar genre to Smash Brothers, so like those players will be interested in the game based on its genre alone. That's where I think you can really like revive something.
that's exactly how I got into Xenoblade.
Even
Is
it doesn't have to even be the same franchise or same genre.
I'm just
genre,
saying
but
if it's
totally
if
not.
it's kind if it's the closer it is, there like it only helps. Doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be. It can like be
Sure.
completely different and take off. But I'm just saying.
You know, it's kind of funny. I kind of feel like the reverse is happening with Gino because, like, we've wanted Gino in Smash forever, and he's just been like a Mii costume. But now with the remake, Gino has come back to prominence. So when the Smash speculation inevitably begins, like sometime next year, the argument for Gino and Smash videos are going to come back. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Sakurai is going to be like, "Yeah, I'm going to add Master Chief instead. You can go."
That would be
F yourself."
sick.
But even like
Yeah.
Nick said here about that's Smash is how you got into you said Xenoblade.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's how I found my love for Earthbound was because Ness was in Smash 64,
Mm.
and I was like, "Who the hell's this kid?" So
Let's get a new Earthbound.
yeah, let's do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Didn't they just put Mother 3 on Switch Online in Japan?
Yes,
That's
Love
the
that.
only
Only
place
that.
that's gonna-
Sadly, only. Yeah.
but you
Well,
can
there's
play it
still
if you
no
have a
official
Japanese account and
translation,
a
right?
Google Lens or something. Just translate everything.
Or if you just speak
Yeah.
Japanese, you can just
Or
take it like 4 years of Japanese.
Well,
and
you
then
can
play
you
the
can
game.
buy an English translated repro card for like $5 online, like a GBA card.
Okay, the
Jake, I think
Nate
I
just got
heard.
away from the
I
ninjas.
think I heard your window breaking.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away from things that may attract
Yo,
Nintendo
we're selling
to
the
ruin
Lurking in
my
the
career.
Shadows.
We're not selling them.
Yeah, it's illegal to buy them.
We're not telling people where to buy them. We're just
Listen,
saying-
we know,
I'm not.
we know
Just saying,
because
you
of that
can.
court case, the Nintendo ninjas are literally everywhere.
they are.
Yeah.
There
I
could be
mean-
ninjas in this chat right now.
There is
could be a ninja.
no, like no.
Eric
So
is
like
a ninja. He's a ninja master.
speaking
I
of the
could be
ninja
a
stuff,
ninja.
That's why he's always quiet.
no, they announced that like that. Remember there's the new emulator now about to come out, Suyu, that's using the Yuzu code base, and they're like,
That's
oh, we're
kinda
gonna be fine. We consulted legal, and it turns out they consulted a third-year law student on that advice, not an actual
Sounds
lawyer.
pretty good. Sounds pretty good. to me.
Have you
can't
guys
wait for
seen
them
Better
to-
Call Saul or Breaking Bad?
No.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
But it kind
Like
of gives me
watching
those energies.
Food
Like, hey, let's talk to Better Call Saul as a lawyer who helps out criminals. Like that's the kind of lawyer that they were trying.
Yeah. Except it's a third-year law student who apparently maybe
Yeah.
that's what he's going to get into is helping people break the law. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
It's
maybe
funny.
he's like a genius. They'll probably make
But
a
it's
Netflix
funny.
series about him
They're,
someday.
they're like, oh, we're going to be all good because we're not going to sell money and everything. I'm like, well, the settlement involved literally the deletion of the entire code base. So if you're still using the code base, which you are, because it's open source, I don't know that if you're in America and you're consulting, I think Nintendo
You might not want to be doing that.
Nintendo,
Honestly,
look, you want to risk
A
multi-million
third-year
dollar
law
lawsuit.
student still knows more than you, Nate.
I know, but we have a recent thing where Nintendo took down an actual company doing it versus these newbies who don't know what they're
But
doing.
you don't. But he knows more than you. He said it's on. So
Yeah. I know
That's
you're
fine.
kinda
And well, my
joking.
point is that they basically made a public challenge to Nintendo, come get us. And it's like,
Yeah.
are you sure you want to? You want to?
I just want to take this moment to point out
Well,
that
honestly, though, Nate, it
hold
is
on
kind
a
of
second,
smart
Jake. I
because
just want to make a point.
it's
I wanna make a
better to
point.
have Nintendo just challenge them right
wait.
away
Very patient.
when they haven't made any money or any donations, whatever. So if they can't pull it off, they know right away. And then if they somehow miraculously win, then they can actually just like leave it up.
Nintendo probably won't do anything until it's actually available. The emulator they're working on is not available yet.
Yeah.
I'm listening, Andres.
Yeah, no. So the
I'm
point I
listening.
wanted to make is just I just kind of hate it when people rely on status for like reasoning. Like, oh, why should you believe this person? Oh, because I'm an engineer. Oh, I've been studying psychology for 2 years at school, therefore I can tell you what's wrong with you. Like, no, that is stupid. I really don't like it when we kind of like reduce arguments down to like someone's class or status. No, just listen to the argument. Come to your own conclusions based off evidence. That's
Andres,
what you should do.
That requires using my brain and thinking, and that's too much
Yeah.
work. So,
Like if I was being sued, why would I ask a lawyer for help? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come to my own conclusions and defend myself, right?
I know
Here we
more
go.
than the lawyer. I
This
know
is-
myself better than
Yeah,
the lawyer.
There are
Exactly,
obviously
exactly.
exceptions to some rules, although there are people, you technically do have the right to defend yourself.
Yeah,
So-
no. That's why I don't go to the doctor. I have a life.
But hey, I will say this though. I will
I'm gonna
say
do
this.
my own research.
Even though no, but you should actually do some of your own research because
should,
if you get the
actually,
wrong lawyer, you'll lose. The right lawyer will win. The wrong
You
doctor
also
can
die
fuck
if
you
you get
up.
the
The
wrong
right doctor
doctor.
can make you well. It actually
You ever
does
get a
matter. You
second
do gotta do
opinion
some
before?
research.
Or a third
Yeah.
opinion?
Gotta do
Oftentimes,
some
doctors will
research.
tell you different things. You should. It's a smart thing to
so
do.
Still use doctors is what you're saying. Got it.
Well, sure, but don't just like, because this doctor
Use-
said, well, get
you shouldn't
multiple doctor
believe people
opinions.
blindly.
I
is
think
the
the
point.
root of it is that
Not
you're
believing
still
anyone
allowed
blind.
to
I never
make
said
your
that.
own stand or take your own stances.
Sure.
Yeah.
Regardless. But
Yeah.
also,
Yeah,
go to
I
the
wish when
doctor.
I went to
need
the
to.
pharmacy,
Yeah.
they would just let me write my own prescription.
Listen,
That'd be great.
the only doctor I trust is Dr. Mario.
You should not.
Hey.
He's just
He's
gonna
always
Dude,
got
he
my
gives you
back.
those
pills.
monster pills, man.
They
I
work.
would love if I could write my
They
own
work.
prescriptions. I'd have
And
a
he's
great
just
time.
handing them out like crazy.
They're
Yeah.
like candy. Oh, that's a blue virus. I got the blue pill. Here you go. Oh man.
Wait, the blue pill? What?
Whoa.
Like the Matrix,
Yeah,
Yeah.
blue pill or the red pill.
Yeah.
What about
blue
the
pill gets you
purple
real.
Anyways, I guess we can. Do we want to talk about the Animal Crossing stuff yet? Did you guys talk about it?
No,
We did not.
I want to talk
No.
about Animal Crossing.
All right.
I
we
mean, I
can talk
haven't
about
seen
it.
the rumor, but I do want to talk.
Yeah,
about
I didn't put it in there. I kind of because it got updated today with even more information. So
I'll use the bathroom real quick, but I'm listening.
feels like my
While you're
Pokemon.
in the
thing
back.
I
Mike,
bought.
please. No.
You have no more. Okay, so this comes from Nash Weedle. If you guys don't know who he is, he's just a person who's gotten some stuff right in the past, and a lot of his other stuff is just pending. And he basically said, I mean, one big thing: new Animal Crossing games come in 2026. That's what he's claiming. And that it'll be some sort of ultimate version, whatever that means. Game concepts involve moving around, controlling vehicles, a large city with skyscrapers, adventure missions, puzzles, and mini games, more collaborative multiplayer, which I could buy that. I can see them expanding on the multiplayer aspect more. 2026 along with the series. I'm assuming he's meaning like a TV series or a cartoon series. Believable,
makes
Nintendo's doing stuff. But then he added more today. That was yesterday. Today he added some of these concepts were actually discarded from the previous game. There's going to be a new monetary system within the game. I don't know what that means, like spending real money or new system besides bells. I don't know. A large shopping center where you can have your own store and sell your own designs to other users. I don't know if it's real money or in-game currency. Furniture store, clothing store, vehicle workshop, etc. I think for in-game currency that would be kind of cool. And then the last part that he added in said a separate city completely online. So there's going to be a separate online city to interact with the connected users. That will include mini games, vehicle races, cake throwing. Apparently, you could celebrate birthdays, some sort of mouse hunt game. This is the basis that was started in a creative brainstorming prior to the start of development. So apparently these are just ideas that happened during the brainstorm session heading into development.
Yeah, so I made a video about this. I think a lot of people made a video about it.
Yeah, because
today.
we need something to talk about too. Hey, this guy actually has some credibility. So like, why are we talking?
When I woke up today, I was like, oh, there's this video I want to make, but maybe I'll save it for another day because of this. I'll say as someone who likes Animal Crossing but doesn't like it enough to continue playing more than 30 hours. This to me is interesting because it sounds like they're kind of incorporating a lot of different elements, including some sort of Stardew Valley like elements. Because like if you play Stardew Valley, it's very Animal Crossing like. It's kind of like a life sim. It's kind of fun to play and explore the world, meet people, and farm and stuff like that. But also like you can go out into the wilderness or caves or find dungeons, and it's a little bit of like an RPG as well with some fantasy elements. And so this idea of having like different adventures and mini games kind of more integrated into the world of Animal Crossing might give me more to do and more it might keep me more engaged for 20 to 30 hours, because I don't know, for me, like just doing chores is an existential crisis.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest complaints with New Horizons is I put 400 hours into that game and I don't know how I did that.
Well,
like
there's
doing chores.
There's certain things in the game that like most players don't do that actually are the things that's really fun. Like, okay, a lot of people, they get that many hours because they decorate their island, and to plan stuff out and do it, it's very tedious. So it just naturally you'll put that many hours in. But like my favorite part of the game was like villager hunting, because it's like shiny hunting in Pokemon. Like there's so many villagers trying to like visit islands to get your favorite one. It's like kind of tedious, but it's so relaxing, and like it's like meditation almost. You just like turn off your brain and do something over and over. It's like building Legos. It gives me the same feeling. Like that's like what the idea of the game is. But I will say, like I want them, like with New Horizons, they had like 10 new villagers. I want them to have like 25. And then I agree, more stuff to do. So the people that like the game for what it was with New Horizons will still have all of that and can play the game that way. But then for those like are you like you, Andres, like there'll be more stuff to do as well. And there's room for that in the game for sure.
Yeah, I really would love to throw a cake at someone's face. I mean, that sounds fun.
I think the concept of like adding more online stuff would be great, because you went from New Leaf that did have this like multiplayer minigame island where you can go and do stuff and like have mini games with your friends, and it's not just, oh, come to my island. And then you go to New Horizons, which is just, hey, come to my island and look at stuff and leave. Like that's it. So I do want something more. Like I like New Horizons, but it's not my favorite. I like New Leaf more, and I do want to see them add more. The whole thing does kind of feel out there though. Like you can move vehicles around, like drive vehicles around. I don't know what context an Animal Crossing game would have that in.
I think, well, one, they talk about a city. So if this is in a city setting, then there's that opens up the door for cars, taxis, mopeds, things like that. But let's say it's even within a traditional Animal Crossing setting, right? Like if you're doing some farming stuff, maybe there's wagons, or there can still be bikes. Stardew Valley has horses, right? Like it's an organic variable.
What the fuck? You'd ride your neighbors?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can't do that because
I think bikes
there are
would be
like
cool
frogs
though.
and turtles that you can like catch in New
Okay,
Horizons,
that's kind of weird.
and then you can have frog and turtle neighbors as well. So I mean, that's
Dude, imagine your neighbor's a frog and you just like keep one in captivity in your house.
yeah.
No, you got to gift them a frog.
You invite
Yeah,
your frog neighbor
yeah.
over to see your frog in the aquarium. Hey, is this your brother? I just want to.
Do you know this guy?
I don't just want new
Do you know him?
villagers. I want new species. We need a couple new species as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, give me an axolotl
nice.
villager.
There's a lot of options for animal species and stuff. Like,
there's a gorilla, but is there a chimpanzee?
I think there are.
There's monkeys. So
there's monkeys.
So
it's chimp adjacent.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there an orangutan?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Actually,
No.
About time to get an orangutan. How
But
about a
with
baboon?
that, what they'll do is they'll take an existing species and make just one of them look like a similar species. So that's what they would do for like an orangutan if they added one.
What if they had some dinosaur ones? Like, can you imagine like a T-Rex villager? Even though we have
But
dinosaur
then-
bones,
We have dinosaur bones in the museum. Like,
but that's kind of fun though, right? If you
that's
can,
like,
if you can-
hey, is this your dead relative that we're on
Right?
display for everybody to look at?
Yeah, and then they'll have some snarky response like, "Look, not every dinosaur is related to me, bro. Like, come on." It's like
Right.
people
We've
asking me if I
obviously
know every
evolved.
Canadian.
No. And he's looking at you, then he turns
Well,
towards the camera and drops the shades.
what are the current villager types? Because there's not that many. Hold on.
Horses,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely horses.
Cats and
chickens,
dogs,
birds,
and-
dogs, cats.
Yeah, I think chickens just fall under like bird. There's
Yeah,
like,
there's
there's,
there's like
birds, 'cause
small
there's,
birds
like,
and big birds.
Yeah.
eagle type bird, and then there's like chickens.
All right, so let me throw
But
that
it's
idea
all
at
under
you.
bird.
You know how I suggested riding horses, and you guys said, "Yeah, but there's horse people."
There are horses.
But what if you still could ride your friends?
Oh no!
Like what if there was some level of interactivity between each other where you can do like piggybacking?
Yeah,
right. That's
this is
you know what
making
I
me think
thought of.
of Redeads and Zelda, and I just
Listen,
don't.
Well, they're humping your face. That's different
I'm
than doing
not
a piggyback ride.
saying I want this at all because I think it's weird. But something they could add, like Stardew Valley, is a dating system, or literally any
We're getting a
kind
little weird.
of
like it.
relationship system
How about a
outside of
matchmaker?
what they
The
have now.
animals.
So, but no, I actually like the idea. What if it's
Is
like a
that
matchmaker?
Reality.
Well,
Oh,
it's
like
not-
you set up your villagers together.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And
I think
maybe
that
they
could
don't
work.
even have to date. Maybe they just become
Not
best
gonna lie, I
Crossbreed
did use to
children.
Ship, I did
Let's
use
do
to definitely
it.
ship villagers.
I'm
Yeah,
hooking
like-
up the
Yeah.
horse.
Like
I kinda
maybe
get
best
like-
friend status is you could become roommates. Like they don't have to like blatantly say they're dating or they got married. They can just be, it leaves it up for interpretation the way they do with
Right.
Zelda, right?
Could you have
Um,
more than just two? Could you have like
Do we Animal
these?
Crossing
Yeah,
like,
why
fucking
not?
orgies?
Yeah.
Sure.
lifestyle?
They'll let you decide. That's how it is these days, right?
I
So,
just
you know,
want
Awesome.
something deeper in terms of like interacting with your villagers, because
I
like
just-
Jake
I
said,
don't want to date any of the animals.
no, that's
Nick.
fair.
I
You
can't
don't make them
emphasize
date
that
each other
enough.
is what they were saying.
but
I
what
do
would
not
be
want
fun,
to date the horse.
but that's why matchmaking is
Sounds
like
fun.
you kinda
because
wanna
you're-
date the
you're
horse.
you're playing Cupid.
Don't.
You play Cupid.
I
You're
can
not-
I can
Yeah,
get
they were-
behind that.
They weren't, but Captain. They weren't saying that. They were saying make the animals date each other.
Well,
Yeah.
we got there, but we started with
Oh yeah,
Dating.
yeah, true.
we, like,
I'm
we,
just
we
saying,
got to
like,
there
You
eventually.
can do both.
Like
If you
Jake
want
was
to, you
saying,
I don't want
everyone
both.
everyone goes out and does like these villager hunts, and like you're hunting for your favorite villager, and then you get them, and like the interactions are very superficial. Like, oh, we just chat, but there's no like definitive relationship building system. Like,
Yeah.
I almost want something kind of like how Persona has the social links where like you can go out and do stuff and you have a visual tracker of how your relationship is built up. And like obviously not all of them end in romance, and because you're a human and an animal, like you don't have to go that route. But like just something to give
dude,
you a
part of
deeper
the-
relationship.
I
with
kind of feel
your
you, but it's also
villagers.
like part of the charm is that there isn't that. Is that they all have their own, and there's not a ton of them, but they have their own unique personality, right? They're assigned a personality type. And it's kind of cool how they're just like, they are themselves, like no matter what, like they are their personality. And it does kind of make them feel unique. And it's like different than other games where it's like, you can't have an input on it. Just like in real life, you can't like, your neighbor's your neighbor,
There is actually like a friendship system in the game. There's no like stat bar that it gives you for it, but like if you interact with your villagers enough and you like give them gifts and stuff, like there's a friendship level that like builds
Yeah.
up. So like that there
And
is
then they'll
an
give you
element
more
to
gifts
that
and stuff.
already.
They'll interact with you more, and especially like at the Able Sisters shop. There's the one that like is really shy when
Yeah.
you first talk to them, and then like you build up that relationship.
True, but even just like your villagers, like if you give them gifts enough, for example, then like you interact with them enough, your friendship level, it's like an invisible gauge, but it builds up. And then say your birthday rolls around, and depending on who you're closest friends with, in the game with your other residents, they'll like show up to your birthday party or not.
Yeah.
And so like I think maybe just enriching that sort of like friendship system
Yeah.
without
Yeah,
getting
they could
into
deepen
like
it,
without getting into like romantic territory, I think would be fine. I don't need romance in all my games. Like we talked about this way back when we were talking about Fire Emblem like months ago when I was on before, and it's like I don't need the romance
Dude,
options.
what
in all
if
my
you can make
games.
the villagers fuck and have baby animals that are like half alligator, like half
Oh god,
hippo?
it's gonna be like the donkey dragon babies in Shrek.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Yep.
Animal Crossing attach. There we go.
Let's go. I like this.
Yes.
I don't.
I got another tangent we can go off on too.
What's that, Eric? What do we
Jake,
got?
Jake, what was your favorite part of Animal
Dude, and
Crossing?
then like the hybrid babies could also fuck and make like crazy babies.
Even more
and then these babies could
Oh
fuck.
boy.
All right.
Oh boy.
They
Jake, what was
have
your
like
favorite
mix
part
of
of Animal
hybrids
Crossing?
until they become.
And then
just
you
like
have
the
like
parent.
one animal that's
Take
like
it off the
1/32nd of every animal. It's there
We're
are like
gonna
32
take 'em
different
to the
animals in one.
Chocobo races.
All right. All right. Let's
And then
bring this back in just a
eventually,
smidge.
all the villagers look exactly the same. They all
Yes.
become like it's like a brown blob.
All right. Rein
Ditto.
this in.
They just
I
all
hate
become the malice from Breath
They
of
all
the
become
Wild.
ditto.
I hate it so. Oh, there you go.
All right. Eric,
you
you
had
had a
an
question
idea,
for
though.
Jake? Hold on. Eric had a question for Jake.
Jake, what was your favorite part of Animal Crossing?
My favorite part of like
Yeah.
New Horizons.
No,
The
just
villager
Animal Crossing. Yes. So we turn it into a dark mode. We go villager hunting.
Yeah.
I've wanted this for so long. Yeah.
It's
No,
hunting
this
season,
is a way
bitch.
for me to take out those villagers that I don't
Yes.
like.
So
When I
but
want
actually,
them to move
Hey,
out,
Tom,
I just
look,
get
here's
rid
your
of them.
fucking
won't
iPod.
move. Won't move.
But I actually think this idea is feasible, though. Like, so the same way I think matchmaking is feasible. You don't blatantly make it a relationship. You don't blatantly make it murder, but maybe someone,
Goes
ships
missing.
someone to another village,
We're adding
right? Like,
cooking, so we
Maybe
can
you're
get
walking
some fresh
along a
meat.
cliff and somebody
and,
trips.
but
Are you
like,
are you wanting to implement trafficking into Animal Crossing?
Captain, I like the way you think. Guys, make sure Captain gets credit for this. Nintendo app.
I
Animal
would say,
Wait.
Consider yourself given credit.
Oh boy.
well, listen,
Guys,
It
chat,
may-
Captain thinks we should do trafficking, and I like
it may sound bad, but
Dude, Canada's
I
It may
fucking
sound bad because
But,
of
like,
this.
it is a video game, and video games can have villains or have moral gray areas, right? If like imagine if there's someone
no.
that's like getting rid of villagers or sending them away, and then you can get them back, right? Like so they're not gone forever, right? But
Oh,
when
good. We
it
can
does
purchase
it
them.
kind of it enters
Bring
almost
back.
like a new dynamic to the game where there's a mystery element, right? And so it's about kind of like talking to villagers and looking for clues. Maybe you can find like a shovel somewhere that's not supposed to be there. So
Oh
I'm
my
just
God,
saying,
who
like
killed Pietro?
they could add layers. They could add layers to Animal Crossing that can make interacting in the
Dude, there
city
could be
or
a
town
new
more interesting.
towns
feel like-
animal.
I
That's
feel like
the
we're
Grim
describing
Reaper.
a future South Park episode right now.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, wait. It's just woodland
Dude,
critters.
it's like the little fish from South Park. We could add him to Animal Crossing.
it's woodland critters.
Yeah, woodland critters.
It's
Yeah.
woodland critter Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys haven't
Terrible.
seen it, you need to go watch it. It's
yeah.
hilarious. Okay.
You guys remember
Alright,
Happy,
Nintendo.
Happy Tree Time or whatever it was?
Happy
We
Tree
got
Yeah,
Friends. Hell
happy
yeah.
tree friends.
Happy
Happy
We got
tree
ideas
friends.
on
Yeah,
ideas on
whatever
ideas,
fuck it was.
Nintendo.
Yes.
So do we
All
all just
right.
believe this rumor? There's no doubt. Like we're all like, yep, this is happening.
Oh no, I think it's meh.
I think
don't
it's
know.
highly unlikely, even somebody who's been reliable like Dash Riddle, that they know this much this soon.
Especially 2 years out from launch. Like that's
It is. It is
I
interesting.
just feel like something you would know like right before it's revealed, rather than like.
All right,
now.
want to know what would actually be kind of sick? If there was an Animal Crossing underwater version and it was all new animals that were all aquatic, like fishes and stuff. 'cause we
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
called
any of that.
Endless Ocean Luminous. Played on May 2nd.
dang.
Ayo.
Maybe they just go the Tears of the Kingdom route and you have like your base city and then you have the underground that's like underwater and then you got like
We got mole people.
sky.
Mole people.
We got mole people living.
Yeah, and then you can
underground.
have like a spot.
They're
for
the
each
ones
of the city.
trafficking.
What is?
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
The
Um.
only
that
reason
note-
I
Animal
could see
Crossing,
how
Criminal
Nash Riddle
Minds.
would know about this game so far in advance is just like because they know devs and devs talk, right? Like, and it's just something that's gone through the grapevine. That's like the only reasonable way I could see maybe something like that happening. But also, when it comes to like Nintendo EPD projects, like we didn't hear it. Like, did we hear anything about Tears of the Kingdom that was a rumor that was legit
No.
2 years in advance? I mean, it's kind of hard because there were a lot of
Almost
things.
2 years. We had the one patent. That wasn't really a rumor though.
But it was also official information.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
some of that was true. Some of that was in the game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like actual rumor. We didn't really have a lot of rumors for Tears of the Kingdom, to be honest.
Outside of like release dates, there wasn't really any.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
But
it.
Zelda's
Is
always been like kind of that way though. It's there's hardly ever rumors around. Like there's rumors around like, oh, maybe a reveal, but not like real
Yeah.
information.
and maybe you could argue that because there's a lot more hype for Animal Crossing now after what happened with New Horizons, that's why there's like maybe devs behind scenes talking more about it. Like that, it's a possibility. But I mean, I also understand why we could maybe be more doubtful about this one because it's so far in advance and it's so much info. So yeah, I'm definitely skeptical.
The one bit of info I'm not skeptical on that I think could be legit is talking about a series of like doing some kind of animated or anime series. Because I know Animal Crossing, like obviously is really popular, but it also already has a manga series. So like there's that. So that's breached into another medium. So I don't think, and like the Legos are out now. Those just came out this month. So I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say that like, oh yeah, they're going to do a short like animated series in 2026 that coincides with a new game. Like that to me seems very realistic.
Sure.
Animal Crossing is definitely one of those Nintendo games that it makes sense to kind of do something like that. Like as much as I would like to see like a Fire Emblem or Metroid show or movie, they only sell 2 to 3 million currently. So is it worth investing that kind of budget? No, but for Animal Crossing, for sure.
I would kill for a Xenoblade anime, but I know it's never going to happen.
Well, I mean, maybe an anime, which would be lower budget than like, a Hollywood movie,
Sure.
They could do maybe a 4-episode kind of thing or 8-episode sort of stint.
Mm-hmm.
And then it only releases in Japan.
Yep. And then we have to fight to get it.
But Crunchyroll will get
everywhere
subtitles,
else.
though, so we'll be happy with it anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Bold of you to assume a Nintendo anime would go to Crunchyroll and not anywhere else.
Well, we'll figure it out.
It'll go to Netflix.
All right. Well, let's get to the Q&A section. Remember, guys who are watching live, if you want to get a question for the Q&A section, $2 super chat or member chat, ask your question and we will feature it. If you're on any other platform, I don't know, Bits, something. I don't really know how those platforms work. All right.
Yeah, show us your bits.
It's not.
That's what you said. Well,
I mean, in a roundabout way.
I mean, we're not. Okay. Anyways.
Trafficking.
Scorebunny785. How are you doing tonight? Prime and Cap Ferguson. The rest of you guys apparently don't matter, Scorebunny. So
Yeah, you guys don't
Cap,
get
how
to
you
answer
doing?
this question. I'm doing good.
the captain of trafficking.
Listen,
Oh boy.
I'm sending the ninjas after you.
Oh,
No, I'm good though. Thanks for asking, Score Buddy.
I'm
Just
just
through the
for
rest of
our
you.
side my
Look,
life.
to answer this question, you just have to read my subtitle. I'm just surviving the day. Let's see here. Taker 610 just wanted to get his little jokey take out there. It's called Switchy McSwitch Face for the name. It's a thing.
Yeah, that's how your fist's going to look after you get the switch attack.
Jeez.
Oh no.
Sam Talks Game says, how early do you think we're getting Animal Crossing, considering that Splatoon 3 was only finished in 2022?
He
2026.
says that because the Nintendo EPD group that makes Animal Crossing also makes Splatoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they
26 or
just came out with a DLC. Well, the rumor says 2026, but also Animal Crossing New Horizons was slated for 2019 and delayed to 2020.
Right.
And now I think I'm now entering a mode in my life where I'm just prepared for delays. Like I remember when it came to Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, oh no, there's no way it's getting delayed.
And
but
the thing is, even after that came out, like they spent a lot of their time just adding content to it.
That
Sure.
content that arguably should have been in the game at launch.
Right.
So
If they delayed it again.
I wonder, okay, because like Animal Crossing, they've shown like it's a once per gen game.
Yeah.
and did really well when it came out in like the real big heart of the Switch era. Obviously, the pandemic helped, but I keep thinking, like, do I really think they're going to go straight to Animal Crossing next, or would they rather get a multiplayer game out, another Splatoon 4 out in 2 years, and then get Animal Crossing out like a year or two after that, and more of the heart of the
I don't
generation?
think they're gonna do Splatoon 3 then 4 then Animal Crossing. I think they like going back and forth.
But then went
And so
Splatoon
the-
1, then Splatoon 2. Then
Did they
Animal
not
Crossing,
do
then
like
Splatoon
that
3.
Amiibo festival stuff for Animal
Okay,
Crossing?
well,
now?
not okay. Amiibo Festival.
I'm
yeah,
just
no.
saying.
If it doesn't back up Nate's point, it's not credible. But if it
Right.
does, then we
That's a
can
good
talk
point.
about it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't think of that.
if
What
anybody
was I saying?
consider Amiibo Festival a real,
All right, go ahead. Sorry about that. He's muted.
Or what about I don't know
Amiibo
if it's
Festival,
the
or was it
right
somebody else who did
timeline,
it?
but they did like
You're not muted.
a
I know,
repush
you bastard.
for
I gotta
New
take that
Leaf
power away.
on the
Too much
3DS.
power.
They like added Amiibo support to New Leaf. Not that that counts as like a full game, but it would have been something for them to jump back and forth to.
Who made Amiibo Festival? Wasn't even them.
I also think 2026 or 7, because that's about the time gap between New Leaf and New Horizons was
Yeah.
7 years, I think, because it was 2013 to 2020.
Damn.
So then go 2020 to 2027.
Yeah,
I think is about right.
I bet they're aiming for 2026, but I think it'll likely be pushed to 2027.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say, I just don't feel Animal Crossing is like the kind of game that takes a really long time to develop.
Well, here's the
I don't
thing: is
know.
I
They got to
hope
add
they
in
do
all that
content.
animal.
I hope the next one is
dating.
content.
Well,
packed.
I mean, but the thing is, they just wrapped up Splatoon 3 DLC. So now, obviously,
Probably
not
not the
everyone's
whole
doing the
dev
DLC.
team.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all hands on deck, is my point. So
I do agree with
Yeah.
Jake. I want it to be content packed because I feel
Yeah,
like New Horizons was not content packed at launch. And even the stuff that was there was really easy to get through really quickly. And then they kind of like slowly dropped other stuff like, oh, you can
Yeah.
dive now. You can go to other islands now. Like,
The thing that worries me is because it's a slow burn game and because New Horizons was so successful, I worry that it will have more content at launch, but they will still intentionally withhold things so they can have big updates.
well,
And that could be all right if they choose the right things and they do it correctly, but it still makes me nervous. You know what I mean?
I think they're gonna
Mhm.
100% do that.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I just
like,
hope they do it right.
I actually kind of made this point in my video today. I think Mario Kart, Smash, Animal Crossing, specifically, but also Splatoon, and whatever. Maybe if Nintendo does another ARMS, like there are these kinds of games that are big games. Then they have multiplayer features. The Nintendo wants to launch, like per gen, and then have them have legs, right? So have free updates
Right.
and then eventually paid DLC. It
Well,
makes a lot of sense.
I forget who said it, but like someone said, like a lot of the stuff was arguably should have been there at launch, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't want it to feel like that. I want it to feel complete and feature rich at launch, and then still have stuff that makes it worth coming back to in the future
Sure.
as well.
Well,
I
we go
will-
back to the rumor. It's called Animal Crossing Ultimate, right? Like the implication is that it's really dense right from the get go. So
Yeah.
I will never
it's
understand
true.
why Nintendo gave up on Animal Crossing in 2021. And that was it. Like, they just.
They wanted
I'll
to
also say
work on
one
the
thing
next
about
thing, maybe. I don't
one
know.
thing about this, if it is
Splatoon
true,
3,
is it
baby.
sounds like there's a massive online component, and that could be one of those things that keeps it going for many, many, many years.
Yeah. Because let's point something out here, right? Like Nintendo is only focusing on one platform at a time now. It's not like in the past where they had 2 Animal Crossings per gen, 2 Mario Karts per gen. It's one. And so they probably want to make the one count. Release a really big game relatively early on so it can have that evergreen, status, and then have updates throughout the gen. And that kind of makes up for the fact that there's only one game from that franchise.
There's also Pocket Camp.
Well, you got the mobile stuff, right? So
That is true.
It's a game. It is a
Have
game.
you guys
It
have you
doesn't
guys
fit.
ever had sex in a campground? It's
Yes.
fucking intense.
Yes.
Wow.
I was way
Captain-
too quick to jump
Captain,
on the yes.
right
there.
away.
Sorry.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Jake. Either way you describe that, the answer's still yes over here. All right. Only once, but yes. Let's see here. Taker
Happy
610,
That was
$5.
fun. Thank you for sharing that with me.
It was, dude. It was quite the ride.
Okay, so it was cool.
Commonwealth Realm. Sacred 610 says Commonwealth Realm suggested that Link Between Worlds would be a great Switch remake. I can play the Oracle games on Nintendo Switch Online, less necessary in my opinion. But I mean, you can play Link's Awakening as well on NSO.
I think.
Yeah.
But Link Between Worlds is what he said in the chat, not Link's
I know, but
Awakening.
I know his argument though is
But
that
also-
Oracle games wouldn't make sense.
Link's
because
Awakening
it's
on
not
NSO is a more recent edition. Like when Link's
Sure.
Awakening remake came out, it was not on NSO.
Came after.
But my counterpoint to that, I think that A Link Between Worlds holds up really well.
I
Link's
think Link
Awakening
Between
needed the
Worlds
remake
is too
remake
new.
more. The Game Boy Zelda games, they're great games
need to
from a
be
design
remade.
standpoint, but the
shit.
controls suck.
Is the Link Between Worlds over a
much.
decade old now?
My
no,
God,
opinion
I'm
is
it was
I
2015, right?
Almost.
I think
yeah.
it
2013,
makes
I think.
sense to remake. A
Oh,
Link
yeah,
to the
'cause Triforce
Past
Heroes is
before A Link
2015,
Between
right?
Worlds.
Wait.
Yeah,
wait.
2013.
A Link Between Worlds began development
Initial
as a
release.
remake of A Link to the Past, and then they said, "Well, we want to add all this new stuff." To the point where
Yeah.
they just decided it's a new game.
Yeah.
But
Link
So
Between
I
Worlds is
think it's A
10
Link
years
to the
old.
Past turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm
11.
old as shit.
Man, I feel old. I remember when that game came out. Jeez.
I just want them all. But I think like my point is that like A Link to the Past, even I would say holds up. But the Game Boy Zelda games need the remake more, not just because the graphics. It's really the controls. They drive me bonkers. I can't. It's the
They're
item.
pretty old school.
The design is complex in a way that's good. It's a good Zelda design, but they're too complex for how many
But
buttons
it's
the Game Boy has.
crazy that the only Zelda game that's ever been remade from before the 21st century is Link's Awakening. That blows my mind.
Ocarina of Time got a remake.
Well,
I
it's a
guess. Yeah.
remaster.
Okay.
It's
And
on
so
the
did
box. It
Majora's
says
Mask.
remaster.
Okay,
They're technically remasters. Technically,
true, but it's such an overhaul.
They're good
I would put it in the remake league for how much of a jump it was.
Okay.
Even if I prefer
Okay.
the originals.
I'll give it to you, but for the definition I was thinking of, that's not what I was.
For that definition, you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like.
So where's our Zelda 2 remake?
Fuck that.
No.
Did you hear that the Prince of Persia team wants to do that?
I would love for them to do that.
Yeah, it'll be so cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't
okay.
want the Zelda team being like taken away to do that, but yeah, the Prince of Persia team, sure.
Someone said in chat remake of Four Swords, and I think that would be cool if they added actually good online.
Yeah.
And you could actually play Four Swords with
Or just
three other people.
I think
Put
we
it on
should
NSO.
do 4 swords here on the podcast, maybe 6 swords. You know what I mean?
You know what'd be
guys?
really cool?
You know what I'm saying, boys?
All right. Check this out. What if the reason Nintendo didn't do DLC for Tears of the Kingdom is because instead they decided to do a spin-off based off Tears of the Kingdom that's basically open air 3D Four Swords?
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. But look
They
at
would
that Tears of
never.
the Kingdom gameplay where you're literally running around with sages. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
but those are
imagine if-
NPCs, not real
Right,
people with
but
internet
imagine-
connections.
Imagine if you were to subtract the NPCs and just had internet connections.
You think
come on.
Nintendo has
What?
good enough internet for that?
I mean,
is
first off,
happening?
Pokemon does it.
Oh, but the
Very
one in
important.
Pokemon
Well,
is
Monster
Mm.
Hunter does
Yeah,
it pretty good. with a
Monster
lot
Hunter
of shit
Rise
going
does
on.
it amazingly well, actually.
that's a much better example than
Okay.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
That's
well,
my
well,
example, to be fair.
the reason
Honestly,
I-
not pretty good.
okay, well,
It was
hold
kidding.
on. Let me spin it. The reason I brought up Pokemon is because if Game Freak can do it, anyone can do it.
That's a good
Okay.
point.
Yeah, you're
see,
not wrong.
I
They,
spun
they
it.
don't really do it that well, though, so I'd still.
But they can do it. It is doable.
if we
I
got
mean,
a Zelda game that
all
had
right,
online like
listen,
that,
man,
like
if we're talking about a spectrum here, Game Freak is on this side. The
Game
bad
Freak
side.
is on the spectrum. I'll give you that.
and then the Zelda team is like the creme of the crop, right? So they can get it done.
But if
Wow,
it's not
pretend like I
good,
didn't
they
laugh
just
at
won't
that.
do it.
Sure.
Wow.
Again, it's just a cool idea. Like, what if that was the holiday 2024 game? I think that'd be pretty hype. I think we'd be pretty interested.
If they're gonna do something, I think it's gonna it'll be a Hyrule Warriors Tears of the Kingdom spinoff, either this year or next year, to keep it close to Tears
Who's
of the
gonna
Kingdom.
buy that?
You
Age of
telling me you
Calamity
wouldn't
sold
buy
really
an
well.
imprisoning war game?
No.
They've already shown that they don't care about the continuity with the games, so they'll find a
No.
way to have Link and Zelda go back in
I
time.
disagree with
I
that.
would rather buy
it
a
would just
2D
be a
Zelda game.
spin-off. But
Yeah,
no, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity sold really well. So it's not
yeah,
It did.
not a-
money.
But I think that I don't know. I just think that they've already oversaturated us with Warriors
money
games
speaks,
and-
man.
and- yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Which is why they're making something else to
have
make
they
more money.
oversaturated us?
Hey,
Let's think about
Andres,
this for a
cash
moment.
talks,
Think
bullshit.
about this for a moment.
walks.
By the time we get to next year, we would not have had a Warriors game based on a Nintendo IP in like 5 years, 6 years.
Sure,
This
but
was
the
all the way
Warriors
back
games
in
are still
2019.
coming out.
Well.
about-
Hold on.
Wait,
Didn't
Fire
Scramble come out?
Emblem, what
Three
you call
Hopes.
it? Three Hopes came out in 2022.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
true.
I was thinking of Zelda ones. That's why I was.
Yeah, Zelda ones. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
no,
true.
you said.
But we
Zelda
already
one.
have two of
I
them.
know it's not
I
what I
We need a
said. I said
third
I was
one.
just correcting what I meant.
I just don't think we need a third
I
Zelda
think-
Warriors game.
We need a Xenoblade
We
Warriors.
need a
game. That's
continuation of
what we
Hyrule
need.
Warriors, the original. I need a Hyrule Warriors 2.
No.
Yeah,
I need
we know.
Calamity was
Linko
better.
and Sia to come back.
Hey,
Yeah, you
listen,
need
dude,
more
that
Sia
story's
content.
great.
We get it.
You
No,
can get that if
That
that's what you
story
want.
is so
you can have
good.
it.
I don't know,
But I am not going to play it with you. I'm just not going to be interested.
Okay,
See,
I'm not
we're
going to
talking
play
about,
with
like,
anyone. I
active
play Warrior
content.
games by myself.
Hyrule
Yeah,
Warriors,
that's
especially Definitive
You play with
Edition,
yourself?
is like bloated with content though, to the point where it's like there's just too much. It's
Yeah,
not
Right.
it's
right.
way
I
too much.
bought the game and
So
didn't
bloated.
play it. I opened it up. I played the first level. I was like, all right, I don't care about this.
I bought the game used for full price, and I've
Dude,
got
it's
like
such a good story,
not
man.
even halfway through it.
Yeah.
You know, of all the things about Hyrule Wars, the original Hyrule Wars, you could say it's got such a good story is not that's not the argument I would make. It's
The
about-
story's awesome.
it is
All right.
fan fiction to the
Yeah, that's why it's so
nth
good.
degree.
That's
They're
why
like,
it's
oh,
so
Link's
good.
here. Oh, now Midna traveled through
You
the portal.
know,
Now
I,
she's here
I
too.
realize it's a spin-off and not
And
canon.
Darunia's here from
Well, I'm
Ocarina
gonna
of
tell you
Time.
something,
That doesn't
this
make sense. It's
game-
okay.
This game explains why all the timelines are converged with Breath
And
of
there's
the
an
Wild.
evil witch, and she's sexy, and then
I
she's
But
not
no,
split in
she's
half.
not just the evil witch. She's
and
split in half.
She's also a good witch.
'Cause
who's
there's a good
sexy,
and
but
a
in
bad
different
side.
way. Yeah,
I
oh
will
my God.
give Hyrule
There
Warriors
is
She's
a
sexy, you get to
personality
split her in
conflict
half?
there.
And then
I
there's
got
like
one
three
I
compliment.
might
endings.
play now.
You finish
I'm
the
not-
game.
Lana and Sia and
This is my one compliment for Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, or just
It's
the
fun.
first
The
the
Hyrule
story
Warriors.
rocks, man.
The
I don't know what
design
you're
for
talking
Princess
about.
Zelda, she's hot. Like,
That
that's
is
it.
so
So,
undeniably true.
That-
that is
that-
the
that is
best
the
best
version
part
of
of
Zelda
gameplay is
we've
fun.
gotten.
but it's so overbloated, and the story is so convoluted, and there's like so many. There's like 3 resolutions. You're like, okay, Sia stole the thing. Now we gotta go stop her. Okay, we stopped her. Everything's fine. But
To be
Ganondorf
fair-
is here now too. Oh my gosh! Now we gotta go stop him too. And oh my god! And then oh my god!
Whoa,
Now
whoa,
the
whoa,
Wind
whoa,
Waker
whoa,
stuff
whoa,
is
whoa,
showed
whoa,
up.
time out,
Honestly,
time out, time out, time out.
wait, I
Zelda
think-
games
I
do
think
that
that
kind of
Captain-
shit. Zelda
I think
games
that
have
Captain
Ganondorf
should
coming in and
actually-
wrecking on everything that just happened all the time.
Wait,
Twilight Princess was
Prime,
ruined by
Prime,
Ganondorf getting involved.
Prime, genuinely, let me fucking say this. All right. All I want to say is that for
You're
real,
bricked
I
up.
think, Captain, you should make a video doing like a plot summary of that game because it's already so funny. Like that video would crush it. Like with like some solid like animations or something,
Oh yeah.
like a recap.
And then I'll
Maybe I
step
should.
in and give the
Maybe I'll
real
shut up.
plot summary.
Nah,
that means I have to
fuck.
play
People know
the
how
game
good the
again to
story
make sure
is.
I got it right.
yeah.
Dude,
If they ever
Yeah.
announce another Zelda Hyrule Warriors, you
I'm,
better get
I'm
one.
dropping a video about how Hyrule Warriors is the best story in Zelda history.
Oh my
Coming.
god.
If
Come
you ever have a lull in content,
I'm already on the dislike button.
that
All
would
right, as
be an
long as you go
interesting
sign up for
video.
our sponsor, Aura.
It is a serviceable story, is what I would
I-
say.
I
It just like reeks of fan fiction.
Yeah.
That's
I'll say there's something to be said about like not every story needs to be extremely complex, right? And it's super nuanced and well woven. I think sometimes, you know, if a story's just fun and enjoyable, if it's a fun ride, that says a lot. Like I would argue that the Mario Bros movie is a good story because it's fun to watch.
And like, it's a Nintendo game and it's a Zelda game. Being the best story for a Zelda game is like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
wow. I will say like I find Hyrule
Someone
Warriors
doesn't play Xenoblade.
fun to play, but I don't play it for the story. I would boot up Hyrule Warriors because I'm like, yeah, I want to
Sorry,
I
guys.
want to Goron punch 100 bokoblins at once because that's fun. but I wouldn't say the story is the strong suit of the original Hyrule Warriors.
Well,
That's what I'm
it's a
saying.
Warriors game.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to do cool
It
attacks
is
that wipe out 1,000
slash.
goblins.
Exactly.
You want to know what's the best story in Nintendo history?
Xenoblade
What?
Chronicles 3. Thank you.
I mean, that's actually
Are
probably
you
the
gonna say
answer.
Paper Mario Thousand Year Door?
That's also probably an okay answer, but I was gonna joke and say Subspace Emissary.
Oh, oh.
I'm joking, but it's kind of wild. For those who don't know, that's a single player in Smash Bros. Brawl, and it's a lot of crazy stuff.
Oh, that is what that is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty cool.
I didn't play Brawl.
So we got one more question. It comes from Twitch. Thank you for those who are watching on Twitch. Bo She Paul says, random question. Have any of you ever been given a wedgie? And if so, what's the story?
There's not much of a story behind it. Dudes mess with each other.
Well,
No,
I
I
have
was
a
homeschooled.
story.
Well,
I have older siblings. That's the story.
yeah, I mean that's the whole story.
have
I
three
was
older
6 years
brothers.
old, and my dad walked up to me and said, "Hey, Nate, do you want a wedgie?" I don't know what a wedgie is. I said, "Yeah." Just right up in the air.
You're on a
Thanks,
wedgie
Dad.
where the underwear just tears.
Yeah,
Wait, has
actually,
anyone ever gotten a swirly?
had that happen. Yep.
Yeah.
Nope, I was homeschooled.
But see, you can be homeschooled. It was my dad, so.
Yeah, escape from him.
But no, I have
man.
not gotten a swirly. Jake.
Oh, now we're going to swirlies.
No.
Wait, well,
Yeah,
where did
right.
this come?
You know what's funny?
Oh,
Actually,
that's because you have you've had a lot of swirlies in your life, haven't you, Jake?
I didn't get that many wedgies in school, but I definitely got a lot of like.
I'm
kids,
sad that
like,
I don't have anything
ripping
contributing
your
to this.
pants down.
Oh,
Kids ripping your
pantsing
pants
you.
down all the time.
Yeah. See, Jake, when you look like this,
I did get suspended once for going to school only wearing a paper towel roll.
What?
Jesus. Wait a second. Whoa. How does that
I don't
even
know why,
possible?
but I'm not surprised. Somehow.
The actual the cardboard roll, or like
Yes.
the paper towels all
Hand-
around you.
Hand over the tip. The scrote was exposed.
Jesus. Holy.
So that's what you have to
But that-
contribute to this. This is a
Did you have a
wasn't it two? Wait, it had to be the
No.
mini roll, right? Like
Are
Not-
you
not
supposed
the
to be
paper
towel,
towel.
not a toilet paper?
yeah, it had to be the toilet
toilet
paper
paper
roll,
roll?
right?
Are you sure it wasn't just a cotton swab?
It was. I was actually. I inserted myself inside of a Q-tip.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
You're doing it wrong. If that's
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for episode 63.
The
of
Q-tip
the
was a
Dumb
little
Ride
loose,
Podcast.
though.
We only got 6 more
Pretty much
episodes of this level of craziness before we I don't know, something changes in season 3. Maybe we got to keep it a little more cleaner in season 3. I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna go around the room and everyone can introduce. Well, not reintroduce. More like tell me what you got going on, where they can find you. Mr. Brick to Up AF. Where can they find you? What do you got going on? Nothing?
Find me on Twitter /X at Jake Randall, YouTube Jake Randall, and OnlyFans.com/2-inch destroyer, the number 2.
Wait, number 2. You're taking a number 2 on your channel on your OnlyFans?
No. Like not like TWO inch destroyer, just like 2-inch destroyer. Like the number 2. How is that not clear? What the fuck?
I thought maybe there was just
I
a
was trying to
second
make a
inch
joke,
destroyer,
and
and
you
you were
took
the
it-
second one. Like there was inch destroyer, and that name was taken. So you're the second.
Also,
No, 2-inch destroyer. OnlyFans.com/2-inch destroyer.
Eric, where can they find you, bud?
Here.
Every Wednesday or most Wednesdays,
Most
8
Wednesdays.
p.m.
Yeah.
Most Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Andres Restart, where can they find you?
You can find me at Andres Restart on YouTube. I talk about Nintendo almost every day, news and theory discussion videos. Beyond that, I am currently aiming to become number 1 under the sun. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama.
Okay. By the way, all 3 of the content creators on the bottom are all better than me. Go subscribe. They should be bigger and get more views than I do.
And
The guy-
the one in the top middle
No, the one at the top doesn't.
is bigger.
Yeah,
He's huge.
2-inch. I don't know, man.
It's pretty.
I don't know.
Well, if he's bigger, then what does it say about you? Or all of us, for that matter.
See, but I got children. It's
1.75
at
is
least
great.
works. At least functions.
2 inches is more than
Listen.
enough. Let's be real.
Dynamite comes in small packages. That's what I was told growing up. So
You were lied to.
I was also told
Yeah, I know.
that it's not of the size; it's how you use it. You know, the motion in the ocean. That
can't-
I was
All
also
right,
told
Big
is a
Dick
complete
Ferguson
lie.
over
Yeah,
here.
It actually
can't
doesn't
handle
matter.
I can't
Ferguson,
handle this.
Ferguson, what do you got going on? Where can they find you? After all, you are the Dungeons video guy.
That is me. All social medias,
What
including
kind of
YouTube.
dungeons?
Wouldn't you like to know?
The dark
Watch
guy.
videos. God.
He
But
turns out the lights when
everything-
he makes his videos.
Oh boy. Cap Bergerson After Dark. No, everything's Cap Bergerson. That's CaptBurgerson, as in there's a burger, and that's my dad, and I'm the captain now. So look at me, I'm the captain now. And yeah, I make videos. If you ever wanted to subscribe to the channel and think, man, this guy hasn't uploaded in 2 weeks, what's going on? Don't worry, it's because I'm about to drop a 2.5-hour video talking about Zelda dungeons. So don't worry about it. It's
And the
all
videos
good,
are
Got a
epic.
movie coming.
basically. Anyway, so yeah, it's yeah. I make if you ever wanted to watch a video where it's like, I want one really nerdy guy to talk to me about one level in a Zelda game for half an hour, subscribe to my channel.
And they're
Yes,
awesome,
Daddy,
by the way.
please.
Yeah.
They are amazing
Thank you.
videos.
Appreciate that.
So then we got Nick with no K, who is in fact here.
Yep, I am in fact here. You can follow me personally on Twitter at nerdiestnick. I tweet about stuff and things. Anything that I feel like
Twitter.
talking about. Anime, sure. Zelda, sure.
Controversial anime stuff.
The fact that I
Absolutely.
ate 3 Sonic cheeseburgers 2 weeks ago, sure.
Hell yeah.
I
So-
can barely handle one. Those things are gross.
I thought I was gonna die.
They're not
Like-
even good. They're not even good
They-
burgers.
They weren't good, but I hadn't eaten yet that day, and I was
So
starving.
why was
Yeah.
Sonic the choice then?
Because it's the closest place to my work that I could get a burger, and I really
okay.
wanted a burger. So
Dude, their burgers are so bad though, man. I don't know how they're still in business. Is it just the shakes, maybe? I don't even.
Nick ate my dad.
Sad.
I'm sorry you had to find out this way. But yeah, I'm on Twitter. I do stuff there, but I also have a podcast, the Nerdiest Podcast. You can go listen to it on YouTube, Spotify, all the places. We're recording an episode this weekend that I'm really excited about. That is the encroaching digital age, where we talk about like digital media is creeping up and video games are going to come up, and like digital game sales are higher than physical game sales, but then like you could lose your whole library if it's all digital. So like there's that. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing Minecraft live streams somewhat consistently. So we do have gaming content over there, but we usually talk like movies and TV shows. So that's what I do when I am in fact not here.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right. And you guys obviously know I'm the host of the show, Nintendo Prime. You can check out the Nintendo Prime podcast everywhere podcasts are heard. And actually, after the show is over, I'm going to stay up and make sure every episode's actually up on our audio show, because I've been really bad about this and I need to get in a better habit. And I'm going to make the habit as we're going to get everything up right after the show. Even if Eric dips out, I guess I just do all the work, which is totally fine because I'm the only one that's paid around here. I'm the only one on this panel that makes any damn money. Sorry, guys. Someday I might spread the wealth. If
I will send
I
you my
had-
info.
I'm
for
changing my
royalties.
Twitter name to
if I
Nerdiest
had
Nerd.
me. I have this long off goal in the 10-year plan. This podcast is getting like 20,000 views on an episode. And then I'm like, you know what? Every guest gets a slice of that pie, baby.
Good.
That's
That means
right.
I can
Long
get
time, bro.
increasingly
Royalties.
more controversial to get more clicks, which means more ad rev, which means I get a bigger cut.
I'm not
Yeah,
going
well,
to
you
tell
know,
you
it's
what to
getting
do.
increasingly controversial.
If you want hot Nintendo takes, I got them. I got plenty.
He'll
got
become Nick
plenty.
with a K.
Dude, I follow him on
Controversy.
Twitter. He's got lots of hot anime takes as well. A lot of them. A lot of things that go viral like crazy.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of the hot takes that he has on anime. I can
All
only
right,
imagine
all
what
right.
happens with video games based on that.
So who's hotter, Pyra or Roy from Fire Emblem?
Pyra, easy.
You sure about that? They're
I'm
both
What
100%
about-
fired.
sure about that.
They're
what
both
about-
straight
Sure about
fired.
that?
Ira
You
and
sure
Roy the
about that?
Koopaling.
Roy the Koopaling, still pirate.
Well, Roy is technically a Koopaling, and if he's anything like Bowser, he might be able to breathe fire.
That's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Factually hot.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Oh,
guess so.
that's what you meant? Factually hot? I guess that too.
Yeah. Pretty hot.
All right, guys, that's episode 63. We'll be back for episode N64 next week. Catch you guys in that next episode.
Love
Can't
you,
wait.
chat.